Alright, hey, I'm kind of pissed off, so we're just gonna go ahead and get started. Yellow Zone, inside a logistics transfer station. Large trucks continuously enter and exit the exit gates, and containers of various sizes are constantly being loaded and unloaded. This logistics site, located in the Yellow Zone, seemed entirely unaffected by the war, continuously delivering goods to every corner of the Yellow Zone as if supplying oxygen. Were we always affected by the war? Isn't that obvious? Half the young folks under me ran off to join the fight. Facing the camera, the logistics station master looked a bit wary. Had Gisela not handed over a substantial amount of funds and medicine, he might have already ordered them to leave. Oh? And which side were they on? I don't know. Regardless, none of them came back. They're probably all dead. But business seems to be booming for you. For the Yellow Zone, your cargo throughput is still quite impressive. That might be true coming here now, but previously, places like LocalCache have practically completely closed off regular trade windows, and their transportation pipelines were handed over by the URC officials. It's just that recently, they say some death zones worth researching were discovered around LocalCache, and a bunch of idle people rushed to LocalCache. That's why we're permitted to reopen. So the current mayor of LocalCache is doing a good job? Ha! Compared to the previous ones, that woman is nothing but a tyrant floating on airs. LocalCache has had 3 leaders, and she's probably the worst. So that means you're standing on LocalCache's side? I just do business. But if you ask me, it's more unpleasant to do business with the Tomato King. Tomato King? A weirdo who is surrounded by beautiful dolls wherever they go. It's perfectly normal that you don't know them. I think the person I know is called Commander, an anti-Wizardtress masquerading as a fruit and vegetable merchant. This military conflict is entirely the bitter fruit of an unjust war initiated by that person to control the Yellow Zone and misappropriate its resources in order to shake the URC rule. I don't know any Commander, I only know the Tomato King. If you want to talk about the Commander, you should probably find someone who knows him. Then, let's talk about the Tomato King. I'm very interested. Why? Aren't you just asking for trouble? I know better than you what's trouble and what isn't, believe me. I only care about one thing. Is what you recognize as that really the truth? And do you have the guts to speak the truth? You want to know the truth? Alright, I'll give you some truth. I like to see if you have the guts to release what I say. Want to test me? Do you know what the scariest thing about running transport in Yellow Zone is? Raegers? Elites? It's the weather. Unexpected, right? Due to collapse radiation, the Yellow Zone's climate and temperature can undergo earth-shattering changes within an hour, from scorching heat to extreme cold. This poses a massive test to vehicles and fuel, though it's still manageable. If you encounter a collapse storm, there's nothing you can do. Ordinary vehicles and protected suits can't survive in those conditions. You can't call for help, and no one could possibly come and save you. And that's indeed true. Let me ask you, did you not see any canned tomatoes on your way here? I don't want to sound too ignorant, but indeed I didn't. Unless you mean those small domes in the wilderness with tomato patterns sprayed on them? Exactly, those are the entrances to makeshift bunkers designed to withstand radiation storms. Currently, it's known that there are over 130 of them scattered across the areas of the Yellow Zone furthest from the settlements. As far as I know, those bunkers were built by the Tomato King's dolls, guided by LocalCache's engineers and aid builders from Bureau 11. They are usually equipped with airtight blast doors, observation windows, and basic lighting tools. If you ask me what is the Tomato King, my answer to that kind of question is already very clear. I might not look pretty, and it might smell bad, but when a collapse storm hits, you'll know there's a place nearby. A place that can keep you and your buddies alive, where you can sleep peacefully under the tyranny that takes all life, and then get back on the road. That's one of the gifts that Tomato King brought to the Yellow Zone. Unfortunately, as far as I know, the Consortium has dismantled quite a few of these cans recently. Perhaps in the future, there won't be any more. But those who took refuge inside and survived, and even met someone they clicked with and found a wife, will remember. My boys went to fight in Makosh will all remember. Seeing the genuine attitude on the logistics station master's face when he mentioned the commander, Igletta, who was standing not far away adjusting the fill light, couldn't help but feel a warmth in her heart. The savior of the Yellow Zone, the hero who fears no authority, the backer of dolls, the uncrowned Tomato King. My commander's truly amazing. What are you buttering about? I'm speaking your mind. Oh, thanks. Though it is a bit of an exaggeration. So boring. If only Destroyer were here right now. Huh? Why? I could see a yapping puppy with his tail wagging vigorously. This doll has a frankness and straightforwardness that disdains concealment. Teasing her brings no sense of accomplishment. The relationships with Senka's fairy are truly twisted. Speaking of which, why did you tag along? Your actions are related to Paradis and directly related to the commander. Rather than wandering pointlessly in a Yellow Zone, it's better to follow the existing clues. Don't you have to follow the orders of your leader, doll? I remember she's called Agent. Who told you she's the leader? To me, she's just a mission assignment system. Griffin dolls should mind their own business when it comes to Senka's affairs. I know, but regardless, thank you. With you here, the pressure regarding them is much lower. Don't expect me to protect those two humans. That kind of thing only happens in the most cliché and melodramatic scripts. Intruder casts her gaze on Gisela and Luca at work. Especially that woman. Igletta keenly sensed that despite Intruder's words, there was clearly not much disgust in her tone. But to be honest, I think Gisela is right. You also want to call me empty-headed and pale? If you were really like that, you wouldn't be angry. When you care about something, it has already filled you up. You just haven't realized your connection with these things yet. You just need to fill in the buckets, or fill in the blanks at these connections. I don't understand. Intruder looked genuinely confused. Why do you like human dramas? Because those dramas are more interesting than everyday life. Is your everyday life very boring? Nothing but battle after battle, fighting humans, elites, fighting anything that is an empty enemy of Senka's fairy. The only thing constantly new to see are the death stares of enemies and combat records. Intruder looked at the transport truck loading cargo not far away, suddenly feeling that she wasn't much different from that low-level machine traveling in its prescribed route. But this isn't your daily routine now, is it? Running around with a documentary filming team? Interviewing humans you normally wouldn't even come in contact with? Indeed. I wouldn't. Not very decent, not very refined, but very real. Maybe this is the difference between documentaries and other film and television works. Igletta said the last sentence as if speaking to herself. Truth. Are you trying to say that the things I like are all fake? Not at all. I like those too, and I don't think drama is fake. But they are merely a part of reality. Much of the excitement and thrill in plays is distracted from this plain and boring reality. I think what Gisela meant by relationality is the ability to perceive the commonalities between life and drama, as well as the ability to consciously distinguish between those beautified and exaggerated descriptions, right? Even if you know and can distinguish it, so what? Actually, that string of titles you just gave the commander is also your true feelings, right? Igletta bypasses this intruder's rhetorical question. Wait, who said that? Don't talk nonsense, okay? A suspicious blush creeps out to her cheeks. Before that, he was just a commander on the battlefield to you. Now that you've seen what the commander actually does, don't you think he is more multidimensional? Igletta tugs at the loose hair behind her ear. The commander checking vegetables in the fields. The commander signing contracts with logistics providers. Don't you feel a sense of reassurance seeing the commander's shadow in these interviewees? It's fine if you don't. We still have a long journey ahead. You'll surely be able to find it too. The meaning of everyday life outside of battles and drama. I hope so. Once Luca finishes taking the B-roll on the logistics station, we can head to Frannis. Alright, take this. Gisela handed over a small gadget. Is this a camera? Yeah, it can capture some combat footage. Might be useful for editing later. Violent scenes are better at grabbing the audience attention and creating emotional peaks. Might as well use them. I don't want what I filmed to be used as to fabricate things. What's the difference between that and the voice of Mercury? How noble. Let me put it another way. This isn't fabrication, it's artistic embellishment. By the way, Miss Igletta, your commander's name is quite useful. Hearing that we were going to shoot a video to clear the Tomato King's name, the station master decided without a second thought to use his own truck to drive us into Frannis. There just happened to be an order for there to do. This is the hearts of the people that the commander has gathered together. Whether it's Tom or the station master, although neither has directly interacted with the commander, the things he's done have indeed subtly benefited these people in the Yellow Zone. That's why now there are so many people willing to raise torches for him. The Black Sheep's feast is indeed still two-sided. It's still too one-sided. How annoying. So in the end, they really are such a grand, glorious, and righteous figure. This kind of person naturally exudes a magnetic charm, gentle yet leaving the others yearning. Let's just abbreviate it to Succubus? Yellowstone Succubus? Would that pass the review? What are you talking about? Let's think of the title for the documentary. Gisela feels a faint flame ignite in her heart, reflecting a figure with long blonde hair, looking at her gently with honey-colored eyes. What did she say again? Why should she think about this now? What if, and I just mean, what if? Igletta's slightly uneasy voice interrupted her thoughts. What if no one believes the documentary once it airs? Miss Dahl, please turn off your real-time processing. You've been calculating an outcome of a probability, but over the past few days, I've realized something. The purpose of us shooting this documentary isn't to slap the face on the conglomerates, though it would be nice if it did. Our purpose is to gather people with the same idea and amplify their voices. When that time comes, the rumors surrounding your commander will collapse on their own. Is that so? Wait, aren't you doing this for money? Oh right, I am doing it for money. Earning some fame on the side while making money might just help when opinion or faster. Gisela patted Igletta's on the shoulder. Alright, let's talk about what's next. We can follow the logistics trucks to Frannis. The station master made us shielding blankets using signal blocking materials from the factory. Wrapping ourselves in them should get us through security. He also told me that although Frannis hasn't been completely taken over by LangPackageTableCnData.bytes, the URNC government team has moved in. There are curfews at night, and they have much stricter controls over the entry, exit, and stay duration of outsiders than before. We might not be able to move as freely as in other parts of the yellow zone. Frannis, are there any informants providing intel there? I received a few spam emails before, just a bunch of garbled text. After asking for a hacker to decode them, I found some vague sentences. The general idea being that there's a problem inside Frannis. As for what that problem is, perhaps we'll only know after we go there. I have a bad feeling. Calculating again. Just like the human subconscious. Some redundant data generated by neural cloud operations is unavoidable. Dolls really are like humans. I think I can somewhat understand why the commander treats you the way you do. I think the commander clearly understands the difference between us and humans. That's why he's so special. Actually, in some ways, you are a bit like the commander. Me. The way you defended Luca back at the Sincoseri stronghold. If it were the commander, he would definitely stand up and defend us too. The doll girl revealed a gentle smile. For the first time in so many days, the atmosphere of the conversation was so relaxed. If there's a chance, I'd really like to meet the commander in person and do an interview. Shush. Igleta hurriedly crossed her fingers over her lips with it leaving in an X, leaving Gisela slightly confused. You shouldn't say things like that. We usually call that a flag. Oh, I know about this. Did not set an anti-flag. I definitely want to survive long enough to interview the commander. Don't use the commander like that. The laughter was carried into the air by the yellow zone winds, mixing with the dust. No one knew, and no one could predict where it would eventually drift. It was the sound of tiny bubbles brushing past the ears, rising up, and then popping the moment they hit the water's surface. Her eyes felt sore and swollen, but she tried her best to open them, because she heard that familiar voice approaching her. Even through the thick glass dome, it rang in her ears with absolute clarity. Is this what you want to show me? That's right. This is the culmination of 3 years of our technology. After many failures, we finally succeeded. Although there are no shortage of experimental cases combining plants or fungi with doll technology, such a flawless success is indeed the first for the RNC. I believe congratulations are in order for you and your team. So, your expectations are... Ah, what a gentle, melodious voice. Are they looking forward to my birth? I hope to cooperate with you to remodel her into a third-generation doll. Huh. Unfortunately, I don't think so. Professor Caldwell, I know that in your eyes, a project like ours might not have much value, but right now is our most critical moment of survival. Not much value? Me? You shouldn't speak of your creations like that. All progress has its value. The only difference lies in whether it meets the right opportunity. Refusing you doesn't stem from arrogance, but because I have already conducted similar experiments. Having the same doll's neural cloud operate simultaneously across multiple frames will cause irreversible failure in the neural cloud map. Yes, we were already aware of your advice. Therefore, we sought out a solution. I hope you can elaborate a bit for me. The Queen Ant is not a tactical doll and does not need to be activated at all times. We can prepare multiple neural clouds backups for her to use alternatively, avoiding the failure you mentioned. The fragment and collapse of a neural cloud will spread to all of its extended minds, even if you discard the collapse run. To this end, we can prepare multiple different neural clouds. Of course, they would be copies of the same doll's neural clouds from the different periods. In theory, this could extend the time limit before a breakdown. As long as it's usable, so as long as it can go into production, the lifespan of a single unit doesn't need to be that long. I don't create bugs. What? Please don't misunderstand. Insects are essential decomposers and transmitters in nature, and an important link in the food chain. I have great respect for this species. Their life form is also very successful. But my job is to cultivate existences capable of dominating their own destinies. Human is merely the most basic form. There is no downward compatibility. Your request is nothing short of asking me to use rare materials to create an inefficient tool to rule for you. Regrettably, I personally believe that proper militarized management and livelihood improvements would be more effective for such work. Or is it that the conglomerate can't even manage those two things anymore? Well, the purpose of science is to fill the gaps where no solutions exist, rather than serving as a replacement for already existing solutions. Unfortunately, I must take my leave. You have indeed achieved results, but unfortunately your creation, in terms of your goal, is a defective product. Defective product? If you value her, I will write a letter of recommendation for you, so she can be of use to you. Otherwise, I suggest you terminate your current research, because your original intention is completely contrary to your current investment. This. After that day, everything changed. The researcher who used to lean against the culture tank and whisper secrets to her seemed to have lost his job, leaving the scene in tears without saying a single goodbye. The director who used to patiently guide her and test her behaviors also became strict, often suddenly hurling abuse at her while adjusting the instrument's parameters to their limits to test her changes and seek possible undiscovered data. Everyone was very sad. Cordyceps didn't understand the root cause of all this, only occasionally guessing. If I weren't a defect, would I have been able to make everyone happy? If I were a third-generation doll, then surely... One day, a large group of strangers walked into her laboratory. They didn't come to congratulate her on her birth, nor to observe her existence and progress. They came simply to shut down and scrap her. Director, please, please don't. I don't want to die. Don't be silly. For a defective product like you, ending like this is already the happiest outcome you could hope for. No, I want to become a third-generation doll. I want to make everyone... The last thing echoing in her ears was the cold, long beep of the machine before it shut down. The memories receded like a rapid tide. Before her eyes was a dark and damp interrogation room. The mold in the corners of the walls was disgusting, but it was much more preferable than the pristine culture pod in her memory. Cordyceps. Another nightmare, huh? What an unpleasant memory. Poor Cordyceps, abandoned by that woman and only finding a body like this. It's fine, as long as we follow those dolls blessed by the commander, as long as we find those Gen 3 dolls, we have a chance to change. Yeah, wait. Wanako suddenly raised her head alertly. Her eyebrows furrowed tightly. Did you feel it? Those people are entering Uranus. It seems so. Getting closer and closer. How could this be? Aren't they supposed to look for the commander and those Gen 3 dolls? I don't know. So annoying. Ruining our plans? Not necessarily. All the girls in the interrogation room looked at this calm Nito. If they can muddy the waters in Hrannis, it might be a good chance for us to help Cordyceps break free from Mr. Jude. The truck passed through France's security check, drove into the city, and finally stopped outside the back kitchen door of a restaurant. This is the cargo manifest for the trip. Check if there are any issues. If not, please sign for it. Alright, let me go take a look. The logistics station staff adjusted their position, perfectly blocking the entrance to the restaurant's back kitchen. Without anyone knowing, several figures slipped down from the truck and quietly disappeared behind the kitchen door. It's already noon, and the restaurant is full of dining residents. Amidst the clinking tableware is a harmonious and lively everyday scene, seemingly no different from what is broadcasted in the URNC news. The bed and breakfast I asked someone to book is still some distance from here. Let's drop our luggage first, shall we? After that, we can take a look around the city and see if there is anything unusual. Boss, before we go, can we find a pharmacy first? I think I caught a cold. My head hurts a lot. It might be because I got smothered while wrapping that shielding cloth just now. Lucas sniffled, looking very uncomfortable. It does seem like you have a bit of a fever. Did you catch a cold while shooting B-roll yesterday? Let's pack a meal first so you can have something in your stomach before taking medicine. Igletta, you guys take Luca and find a place to sit first. Standing here like this is too conspicuous. At this moment, Igletta finally notices that there are indeed several peering gazes directed at them in the restaurant, especially towards Intruder. What ignorant humans. Your clothes are indeed too conspicuous in the crowd. Come, sit down here. Igletta found a corner seat and sat down. Her attention was inadvertently drawn to a poster on the wall. Pacification Assembly? Is this what Mr. Tom and Intruder mentioned earlier? In order to better build a sound urban environment in the hearts of our citizens, we have decided to hold another pacification assembly in the Civic Auditorium for the 20th of the month at 3 p.m. We will listen to the public's wishes to serve as an important reference for drafting new policies. Interested citizens, please register on the official website. The signature is URNC Public Security Agency Hrannis Branch, Ethics and Morality Inspection Department. What's wrong, Igletta? Something off? Igletta pointed to the poster in the wall. Mr. Tom mentioned this Public Security Assembly and this URNC Public Security Agency Hrannis Branch, Ethics and Morality Inspection Department. Is this the URNC management team stationed in Hrannis that the logistics station master mentioned? URNC Public Security Agency? I remember this is the most superficial of the vanity projects within the URNC government. It has almost no authority to manage public security. The actual control is probably in the hands of another department, but it can serve as material. Luca, record this. Oh, okay. Luca's hand trembled slightly as he twisted off the lens cap. He generally seemed a bit unwell. Just as he turned the lens towards the poster on the wall, a stern voice from behind ordered them to stop. Hey, what are you doing? Photography is not allowed here. Hey, it's that guy again. Didn't he just die? Luca is startled, his persistent low-grade fever making his thinking sluggish. He holds the camera blankly without any further action, which clearly infuriates the restaurant boss even more. Do you not understand no photography? Are you people even from Hrannis? The owner runs over to Igletta's table and one step. The loud smack on the table drew the attention of everyone in the restaurant. Gisela quickly steps in to smooth things over. Sir, we didn't see any no photography signs. We'll turn off the camera right now. Oh, it's off, look! Turn it off, it's enough. You must hand over the camera. Huh? The most we can do is delete the photos. The camera is private property, and you're not the security department. You have no right to confiscate it. Nor to confiscate? Huh! The boss asks as if he's heard something ridiculous. You're not from Francis, are you? Francis banned private ownership of photography equipment a long time ago. Anyone found privately holding photography equipment is subject to confiscation. To be handed over to the PSA, or the PS Inspectorate. Sheltering or hiding it will result in prison sentence. This regulation has been in effect for a long time. Didn't hear a peep about this. Could this be the problem with Uranus mentioned in email? Security checks in Uranus are very strict right now. How could it be a camera? The boss shows an expression of sudden realization. Could it be that you enter illegally? Secure passes. And your 2 dolls. Took out their compliance certificates too. Ridiculous! I'm not her. Shush, don't make a sound yet. Igleta quietly presses down on the intruder, who sheepishly shuts up under the pressure of the situation. Alright, please wait a moment. Gisela compliantly turns around, pretending to rummage for her IDs in her bag, but was actually whispering softly to Igleta. I'll count to 3. Then we dash out of the main entrance of the restaurant and turn into the alley across the street. Hey! You done yet? 1, 2, 3. Gisela suddenly turned around and pushed the restaurant owner backwards, lost his balance and fell directly into the sofa on the opposite end. Ah, my back! Grab him! Catch these illegal trespassing videographers! Run! So annoying. I really just want to blast them. I'm not necessary or been chased around so miserably by mere humans. Hurry up, don't cause a conflict for now. The group grabbed their carry-on luggage and was about to rush out of the restaurant. Just as the door was in sight, Luca's backpack strap was pulled back by an unknown force. Wait, who are you? Let go! The one holding him back was a little girl, looking frail, but for some reason, her strength is astonishing. She gripped Luca's backpack strap tightly. Her expression wasn't contorted from the effort, but instead displayed something far more terrifying than a grimace. Hollowness. Camera, leave it, illegal intruder. Gisela was about to step out of the restaurant door, immediately turned back, ran to Luca and grabbed the little girl's hand and attempted to pry her fingers off. Ah! The little girl, upon being touched, acted as if a switch was been flipped. Fear welled up in her lifeless eyes, and she clutched her head, letting out a thunderous scream. Taking advantage of the moment, the little girl to let go, Gisela grabbed Luca to pull him outside. Luca clutched his head in immense pain and slowly sank to his knees. Ugh! My head! Luca, what's wrong? You're a customer. You don't look so good. Are you hungry? The restaurant owner, who had been wailing non-stop on the side, now walked up as if nothing had happened, speaking in a weirdly sarcastic tone. Seeing this, Igleta hurried back and blocked the two of them. This person's not normal. Gisela, get back! Then the terrifying scene unfolded. A hand that did not belong to a human pierced out of the boss's stomach, followed closely by another hand. The two hands pulled in opposite directions, peeling off the middle-aged man's skin like taking off an article of clothing. The spine-chilling laughter didn't stop, and the distorted, exaggerated smiling face of a Nido ghost doll emerged from the shadows. However, there was no panic or chaos in the restaurant. The diners watched the scene before them like a pilgrimage, as if this bloody ritual were incredibly sacred. Guest, would you like to try out our signature special meal? It comes for this free side of death. What a tasteless disguise. A minor character who wouldn't survive past the second act. Be careful not to involve the humans in the restaurant. Protecting humans is your job. It has nothing to do with me. You're back. Get a drink. Alright. That's better. Fending out the news attacks while keeping an eye on the safety of the two humans is not an easy task. Luca, don't peek out. Gisela picks up a tray from the ground and uses it to shield Luca's head. Follow me, slowly. Move towards the door. Okay. Catching a glimpse of Gisela pushing Luca through the cover and moving through the exit, Igleta holsters her sidearm. Intruder, let's go too. Having put some distance between them and the restaurant where the fight had just broken out, Gisela, supporting Luca, slowly slowed her pace. After the surge of adrenaline from being in mortal danger faded, she was left with only a bloody gasp and a bone-deep exhaustion. I told you this guy was a burden. Better to find a place to hide him and wait until things are settled. Our conflict in the restaurant just now will definitely be reported to the local security force. There might even be a wanted poster out for us in a while. At a critical juncture like this, we can't act separately. It's too dangerous. Suddenly, Gisela seemed to think of something. If we are wanted, we definitely can't go on to the homestay I had someone booked for us. The chance of an ambush is too high. And the restaurant owner from earlier. You call her Nito? Suspected Nito. They are slightly different from the Paradise Nitos we usually see. Their moves are stranger, and their emotions are more unstable. Based on her disguise and the various behaviors, I suspect our operation has been exposed. Maybe this entire trip to Frontline is a trap. Damn it. What step does this all start? A crisp notification chime broke in the currently somewhat tense atmosphere. Igleta gestures for everyone to be quiet, then answers the communication. Tukarev, is there any news regarding the test results? Igleta, regarding the preliminary examinations of the male corpse he sent over, I feel it's necessary to update you as soon as possible. Without any pleasantries, Tukarev gets straight to the point. Her worried expression and serious tone gives Igleta a bad premonition. At the wound of the corpse's head, and from the medical container fragments collected from the wound, the lab detected a fungal spore capable of converting human nutrients into a thermal energy, which can trigger a flesh explosion. However, what's even trickier is, it also spreads and multiplies rapidly within the human body, establishing a secondary neural network in the host's nerve plexus. Fungus? You mean the kind that controls ants? Orpheocordyceps? Unilateralis? Unilateralis. Yes, that's what the report mentioned. The mycelial network of these fungi usually only saps some nutrients and doesn't pose a noticeable problem, but under specific radio wave pulses, it can interfere with the host's judgment and create hallucinations. They also paralyze the nerves in the brain that controls muscles. In other words, the host is to a certain extent under the control of another, and their words and actions are sometimes due to being misled or interfered with. So, Mr. Tom was being controlled? Igletta recalled Tom's appearance, his remorse when speaking of Mr. Vosley, and his worry when talking about his daughter. Were those all expressions under manipulation? That doesn't seem like it. When he was talking to us earlier, he was clearly conscious and knew what he was saying. The human nervous system is different from ours. It's very inefficient and fragile. Conversely, it shouldn't be that easy to hijack. It's extremely difficult to perform human-like manipulation mechs, and the pain caused is irreversible. Okay. This kind of thing is unforgivable. If the commander knew, he would definitely be very angry. You're right. Anyway, based on existing samples, this is the extent of what we can analyze. For anything more, we'll have to bother Miss Nell and the others. This victim and the fungus inside him are all receivers for signals and commands. What the transmitter controlling him looks like is impossible to infer from the clues we currently have. I understand. Thank you very much, Tuckerbev. It's nothing. I'm just here to pass on a message. Tucker smiled somewhat shyly, then immediately became serious again. There's another point I think needs attention, especially regarding the two humans in your team. Since the design of the fungus referenced the biological traits of Orpheocordyceps unilateralis, it must also be able to infect other humans in the vicinity through some means. Infection. At that time, the enemy deadened Mr. Tom's body, and the fungus were to spread to other people's bodies. That's right, when the explosion happens, was there a single human caught in the blast radius? She subconsciously looked at Gisela and Luca. If you ask about concern, of course she was worried, but as she thought back on the time together on journey, there didn't seem to be any indication that their wills were not their own. I'd like to ask, does the report say if there are any obvious symptoms after a human is infected? Please wait a moment. Tucker paused for a moment, seemingly looking up information. Found it. The researchers extracted fungal samples and injected them into test animals, but there hasn't been any reaction yet. Sorry, Igletta. No, there's absolutely no need to apologize. Between us, this has already helped us immensely. None at all. I wish I could help you even more. What's the situation you're in? Do you need any assistance? We snuck into the yellow zone town of Ferranis a few hours ago and encountered the strange Nidos who previously invaded the Synchros Ferry stronghold. We might be at risk of being exposed for illegal entry, and it's uncertain if the filming will be halted. Even if we stop now, the logistics station won't be restocked for another 3 days. Without anyone to receive us, the risk of escaping is too great. Trapped in the city, huh? hold on. Did I miss one? Yeah, took a thought for a moment. Perhaps I can request to send the nearest drone to your location for extraction. Judging from the intel, Rennes is just a small town, and its security doesn't have strong anti-air capabilities. It should be fine. However, it will take at least a day and a half. Can you hold on? Now it seems that even if we can't go on, we have to. Then it's settled. I'll send you the drone's coordinates in advance. Within this day and a half, please make sure you all find a safe place to hide and don't get discovered. Also, someone on another porch is now seen to indicate that they could back you up. Someone who back us up? Who? I'm not sure if she can. I'll contact her and let her know that I have a definitive answer. Keep in touch at all times. Okay. Tokura's image disappears, leaving behind several solemn faces looking at one another. Anyways, let's first see where we can go. How is it? It's my friend. She prepared backup for us and... Iglesias sighs, but she still believes that in a situation, humans have the right to know. A type of fungus was found in Mr. Tan's body, which, under the interference of specific radio signals, can control human positionings, and we cannot rule out the possibility that these fungal spores are infectious. Of course, the specific details are still require analyzing the symptoms after infection. Oof, my back. It's a scratch. Infection? Luca's trembling voice comes through. Iglesias turns her head and sees that Luca has woken up at some point, his pupils soaked in fear as he looks at her. What's infection mean? Symptoms after infection, what's that mean? Iglesias understands the intent behind Luca's questions and hesitates for a long time. Among the people present, only Luca has absolutely nothing to do with the war or experiments. If she tells him her speculation now, it will inevitably trigger his panic. But Luca also has the right to know. Luca, it means I suspect that you or Gisela might have been infected. What happens if I'm infected? Will I become like that old man? Splattered blood, brains, and sticky body tissues. A limp, collapsed body. Inside the blown up jaw, half a tongue hung out. And that eyeball that fell into his clothes. These days, as long as he closed his eyes, that eyeball would appear, lying in a palm, staring straight at him. Looking up again, the one holding that eyeball was himself, already missing half his head. Luca's breathing is so rapid it sounds like he is about to pass out. Calm down, he's still alive. Boss, I don't want to die. I don't want to die. The detailed depiction of death in his mind overwhelms his rationality. Thinking of the highly probable death, Luca's tears gush out, and he grasps Gisela's sleeve tightly. Now you want to leave? I want to leave. I don't want to continue. Send me out now. Who cares about the depressed people in the Yellow Zone? I don't give a damn about being the Tomato King anymore. In the end, what does any of this have to do with me? Let them all die. I just want to live. Get me out of here. Calm down, Luca. How can I calm down? Are you trying to kill me? Bring me to this godforsaken place? I finally managed to graduate and find a job. To hold my head up high in front of those people. I could make those jerks who bullied me look at me with new eyes. And now you're telling me my head might explode? I'm leaving right now. I need to go to the hospital for a checkup, and you have to reimburse all my medical bills. Mariana's gonna wait. Is still waiting for me to go back. Luca. Let me go first. You might not even be infected. Besides, the yellow zone can turn people into silicon-based life form. Mere fungi might just disappear in a snap. I won't listen. I won't listen until you. A crisp slap interrupts Luca's wailing. The force is so strong that it knocked Luca's head to the side. He touched his red and swollen cheek in disbelief, unable to utter a single word. What an unsightly display. The owner of the hand slowly withdrew it. Intruder, you. I held back. It was my lightest slap. It shouldn't have even broken his neck. It should be. Is this the person you're trying so hard to defend? Based on his current performance, he doesn't have a single chance. This time, she was talking to Gisela. Lots for words. You can't even train your own subordinates properly, calling them all the time. And you still have the nerve to lecture me? Even if my neural cloud is completely empty, I'm still better than this guy who only knows how to cry, right? Huh. She still cares deeply about that. Alright. It's actually quite simple. Intruder, thank you for calming Luca down. Oh my. I just didn't like him and wanted to hit him, that's all. Intruder shook her head and leaned against the roadside container. I say, these two humans are just burners now, right? We have no way to prove whether they're infected or not. It's highly likely. Otherwise, why would those needles ambush us in advance? What are you going to do now? Even if they're all infected, we can't just leave them behind. Set aside the fact that they are living human beings. If they die, this entire trip of ours will be meaningless. These humans, in the yellow zones are not within my protection scope. If you want to protect them, suit yourself, but you have no right to restrain Singa's ferry. I have no interest in restraining you, but I want to remind you, these people indeed have nothing to do with us, but she is a commander you want to protect. And my commander as well. An existence guarded with my life. So to some extent, protecting these count as achieving the commander's goals. Is that reason enough? Igleta approaches Intruder. The quality of mercy is not strained. It droppeth as the gentle rain from heaven upon a place beneath. It is twice blessed. It blesseth him that gives and him that takes. In this situation, we really need you, so please, don't leave. Intruder stares at Igleta for a few seconds. She feels a headache right now. If dolls have brains like humans, that's how she would describe it. Needing someone. This is a word and behavior that would absolutely never appear in her daily interactions with Singlish dolls. Wait, was she also like this before? She feels like she's about to crash. The Merchant of Venice? Or Venice? You really do like human plays. Then, why don't you take pity on the fellow humans of the playwrights who wrote them? Intruder stays silent for a while, looking as if she has made a huge resolution. I got it. For the sake of the commander also being human. If the other Senka's fairy dolls found out, she'd just say she was poisoned at the time. Then let's find a way to lay low first. We can head towards the outskirts of the city. There might not be as many eyes there. As soon as she finished speaking, noisy sounds came from the entrance of the alley. Hey, let's check inside here. Someone just said that they saw a few suspicious people running here. Oh no, we've been discovered. Run! Here, we can hide here. The door of the residence at the end of the alley suddenly opens. Behind the door, a tightly wrapped young man leans halfway out and waves frantically at them. Who are you? Me? Don't worry. I'm definitely a good guy, not a werewolf. Come in. The more suspicious the guy is, the more he claims to be a good person. Oh, I really am a good guy, Miss Doll. That guy you were just talking about, the Mid King, right? Are you his subordinates? I met him. What? You've met the commander? Yoletta almost darted forward to grab him by the collar. Hey, let's talk about details later. If we don't get inside now, our pursuers will be on us. He let an intruder exchanges a glance, then looks at Gisela, who nods. There's no other choices for now. Let's take the gamble. The group follows the young man into the house and arrives in the bedroom. The young man opens the wardrobe next to the bed, revealing a steel gate that sharply contrasts with the dilapidated shack. Entering the gate and winding all the way down, the group arrives in a space that looks like a safe house. This room blocks signals, so there's no need to fear being tracked. However, if you want to communicate with the outside world, you would have to move away from here, otherwise you'll be easily exposed. In a small space beside them, there are two other young people. Cots are squeezed into every available spot. Various food cans are piled in the corners, and emergency survival kits are placed within easy reach. The density of items is extremely high, but is relatively clean and tidy. Although we're hiding, we still clean up properly. We are soldiers after all. Seeming to notice their assessing gazes, the young man who guided them rubs his nose and explains with a bit of pride. Soldiers? Oh, let me introduce you. I think he means let me introduce myself, not introduce you. I'm Theo. This is Haley. And this big guy's Alan. We're all Oath Guard. From a coach. The other two soldiers nodded at them in greeting. Makosh's Oath Guards? So you just said you're Meta Commander? Well, I might exaggerate just a bit, huh? Someone in my rank couldn't enter the command post, but during the battle, it was that Tomato King and Mr. Vasily who devised the strategy put together. I suppose that counts as indirect contact, right? Indirect contact, still contact. Theo's hearty personality and tone somewhat relaxed the originally heavy atmosphere between them. The female Oath Guard sharply noticed Luca, who clearly didn't look too well. This, miss, do you want to lie down on the cot for a bit? Your face looks like it's swollen and red. Do you need a ice pack? I'm a guy. Oh, my bad. You look so exquisite, and you wear such beautiful accessories, so it doesn't matter, I'm used to it. Luca especially walked to the cot and lay down. Thank you. It's fine. Haley, you and Alan take care of him for a bit. He just got slapped by this dark-looking doll lady. Slapped? By a doll? Yeah, you've been peeking since then? What a twisted hobby. I just want to make sure you were decent people. I didn't expect you to be the dolls working for the Tomato King. You really look the part, miss. That boss has a lot of dolls who look smart and beautiful, just like you. Me? Right. They're all really formidable in battle. Not as weak as they look at all. Oh, dolls really are amazing. Oh, we got a doll file here. You're Makoto's Oak Guards, so why are you here in Frannis? And with a safe house like this? Hey, wasn't there a war in Makoto recently? It was a massive scene. That security company rolled out the big guns and almost tore the dome right off of Makoto. Our four-man squad sustained varying degrees of injuries during the previous skirmish. We were assigned to escort residents to safety, so we evacuated the battlefield early. A long time ago, Mr. Vasily predicted that Makoto would experience a tough battle, so he built safe houses in some Yeltsin districts, far away from Makoto. This place, and Haranis, is one of them. Mad at converting people. Yeah, true. Theo looks around in this small, safe house. Did you just say a 4-person squad? But there's only 3 of you. The phone air steadies for a second. It's war. Party and death are normal things. There's little emotion in his tone, and the other two act as if they didn't hear it, keeping their heads down and busy with the task at hand. That's true. Once the human body is destroyed, there's no way to restore it. Anyway, the 3 of us were sent here for treatment at the time. We didn't expect that just a few days later, armed forces from the UMC and some security company would move into Varanus, saying they needed to enforce controls to prevent reactionaries from infiltrating. And just like that, we were trapped here. At first, a few residents of Varanus knew we were Makoto's Oak Guards and even helped us secretly transport medicine and supplies. But for some reason, they've been missing for days. The new management team has also issued many martial law decrees. No proper possession of recording equipment? Ah, yeah, that's one of them. There are also things like no going out after 8 p.m. Food rations are unified and distributed by the administration's authority. All residents must regularly attend CSA, and so on. CSA? Ugh. You gonna recall the poster pasted on the restaurant. Is it the Ethics and Morality Inspection Division for the UNT Public Security Bureau, Varanus branch? Such a fucking mouthful. Yes, that's a ridiculously long name. Okay, at least I acknowledged it. But according to the content of the poster, that is an assembly that you voluntarily sign up for. It's not voluntary at all. It's actually mandatory. If you don't participate, they'll come to your door and take you away. I suspect those residents were taken away by the Ethics and Morality Inspection Division. It must be their brainwashing political propaganda campaign. Speaking of this, Theo becomes somewhat indignant. Although Varanus is far from Makoto, it is also a friendly town with established relations. They just want to take advantage of the situation to hype up the investigation as a defensive war and slowly take control of all these places. We have nothing before. They didn't care about whether we lived or died. Now that we're showing some improvement and have some use, they want to come over and pick the right fruit directly. Like hell they will. Those places are probably just for outsiders to see anyway. Gisela, who has been listening silently for the side, suddenly speaks up. Igleta notices that the action camera on her chest has been on the whole time. While we were running just now, I saw your NC reporter on the street. The press department logo. I wouldn't mistake it. They want to package Horrendous as a exemplary case of successfully managing a yellow zone town. But behind the scenes, they want to be engaging in some shady behavior. From Tom's death, Parody is mentioned by the dolls, the commander. Everything was telling this highly sensitive war correspondent that what was secretly happening in Horrendous was definitely more than just a brainwashing political propaganda campaign. Going to the PSA. Igleta? You're going to disassembly? Won't that be a little too dangerous? Even if it is dangerous, this is all we can do for now. Waiting passively isn't my style. Igleta checked her terminal. I remember there was one this afternoon. Without further ado, let's get ready. Alright, cool. I gotta do something off screen. Give me 5 minutes. I'll be right back. Alright, I'm back. Let's continue. Mr. Osborne, I think we made it very clear before. Even though it is just a communication image, Lintine's frown at the moment she connects can be caught. She is still quite impatient with Jude. As long as it's within my jurisdiction, not in McCosh, I won't care what you want to do, and of course, I won't clean up your mess for you. Mayor Lintine, haven't you read the recent news? Under my plan, Rannis will become the model town for Yellow Zone. Future admissions standards for the Yellow Zone will be aligned with Rannis. Everything in a public order here. The comparison, or by comparison, McCosh's. Are you sure you don't even need me to help manage the livelihood issues in McCosh? I heard that remnant rebel forces have been quite active in McCosh lately. They're just small fry, no need to trouble yourself. I watch the news, but can you really believe what's on the news? Besides, the news only said expected to become. It's a far cry from actually becoming some model town. Aren't you popping the champagne a bit too early? So you're saying, so long as Rannis indeed becomes model town, you'll authorize me to implement the same plan in McCosh? Huh, you sure are optimistic. Let me put it this way. The only way I even consider this pipe dream is if it were Mr. Zimmerman making this call. Until then, stop bothering me. Seemingly catching Jude's ugly expression, Lintine flashed a satisfied smile. As the mayor of McCosh, I am very busy. I hope this is the last time we discuss matters related to this. Goodbye, Mr. Osborne. After speaking, Lintine unilaterally ends the communication. Another sound of glass shattering all over the floor. Jude restrainedly adjusts his collar and steps over the pile of shards. There's an interview shortly, and it's simply he needs to host. He can't afford any problems at this critical juncture. If this is simply successful, his control over Rannis will be further strengthened. He wants to show this insolent woman his power. He wants to show it to all those who never thought highly of him. The Public Security Bureau office building was just across the street. Since just now, residents have continuously entered through the main entrance. There were no security checks, no interrogations, not even a decent guard in sight. The group dove around to the back of the building, but the scene before them was completely different. In front of the logistics entrance, the janitorial staff lined up. ID badges, work orders, and personal belongings were verified one by one. Even the compartments of the cleaning cards were randomly inspected. The gates would only open after everything was confirmed to be correct. Igleta had maintained the same posture, observing for a full hour. Are you okay? Igleta didn't move an inch. What's wrong with her? Out of batteries? Can dolls use the charging ports in the car? How else should I know? Gryffindors have always been eccentric. Just leave her be. You're not something normal either. What do you say? Igleta suddenly blinked, as if finally waking up from a suspended state. She swiped her terminal, projecting the data recorded over the past hour item by item. That is asset loss for the logistics entrance, including the shift frequency for the cleaning staff, average verification time, and the number of times guards friendly inspect cleaning carts. Hello? Stop that. Okay. The data of the terminal quickly coalesced into a briefing timetable. The administrators here are very cautious, or more accurately, control freaks. She pulled up the exterior layout of the Public Security Bureau and dropped a marker at the main entrance. The main entrance is fully open to the public, but visitors can only head to the Public Security Assembly venue once inside. Another marker then lands in the center of the building. This venue and the office area are isolated from each other. To enter the latter, you need to pass through at least 2 internal authorization checks. I tried to hack the outermost access control. The encryption level is very high. The dynamic key rotates every 120 seconds. With my current equipment, I won't have time to complete the encryption before the key expires. If we can't go through the front door, then through the window? Is that how they always do it in movies? Elite shakes her head and continuously marks over 10 dots on the exterior wall on the building. I wonder if that's just going to be like a... maybe not like a Chekhov's gun, but an idiom, something like that. Where they do something like it's in the movies, and it's actually going to work. These are all full of surveillance cameras. I've already confirmed 17. There are only more than I haven't found. 17? Is this a government building or a military fortress? Since you've listed all the paths we can't take, you must have found the one that we can, right? Eletta nodded. The logistics entrance. Janitorial staff have very low clearance, but there is an exception. As long as they hold a valid work order for the corresponding area, they can enter designated office areas within the mission time limit. She zoomed in on the logistics entrance, marking out the observed points one by one. Identity verification, work order verification, random vehicle inspections, and finally, gate clearance. The 3 red marker blocked the entrance. Then she crossed 2 of them out. Identity and vehicle can both be disguised. The real issue is that the work order must match the real-time records in the logistics system. Considering the shift intervals and the camera blind spots, I tentatively mapped out 2 possible evacuation routes. After this, we just need to compare them with the building's floor plan. So you need someone to borrow a real work order for you? Yes. The location on the work order doesn't matter. I'll search for the director's office. But you have to make sure the cameras can't see me while I'm moving. She sketched an evacuation route on both the north and the west sides of the building. I tentatively planned 2 evacuation routes. Once we have the internal layout, I'll adjust them based on the access controls and security patrols. Igleta closes the map and looks at Intruder. Intruder, your appearance is too conspicuous. I want you to stay in the car to provide support and act as our outside contact. Intruder, you're too hot. Suits me just fine. I had no intention of putting on that completely unaesthetic cleaning uniform and pushing a broken cart reeking of disinfectant in there. Besides that, I also need you to hack into the logistics systems, intercept work orders, and especially create a surveillance blind spot. I refuse. You made the plan, and you're the one infiltrating. Since you're the main character of this play, then don't expect me to hide in a truck and pull the curtains for a Griffin doll. Besides, you said it yourself. The dynamic key rotates every 120 seconds. Do you really expect me to hole up here like an inconspicuous supporting character, hacking the asset controls for you? You said so much. Could it be that you can't actually do it? Go to me won't work. Igletta fell silent for a moment, then suddenly reached out and grabbed Intruder's hand. She leaned in slightly, a trace of genuine admiration showing in her golden eyes. What are you doing? Let's get this straight. Begging me won't work either. Actually, I always felt that among the English dolls, you are the one with the best taste. Not only do you know how to appreciate drama, but your EW capabilities are also top tier. You don't say. Shakespeare said, all the world is a stage. But the ones who truly decide the course of the plot aren't necessarily those standing in the spotlight. I'm the one who steps on the stage to capture everyone's attention, but you, hiding behind the curtains, controlling the lights, mechanisms, and the timing of the curtain call, are the true key to deciding the ending. How could such a role be considered a supporting character? Intruder averted her gaze, though her lips curled uncontrollably into a smile. While I'm not swayed by your clumsy flattery, you're right about one thing. If I can easily accomplish things that Griffin dolls are powerless to do, it just goes to prove that Synchro's Fairy possesses an overwhelming advantage in the field of electronic warfare. So easy to coax. I heard that. Intruder crosses her arms, but the terminal screen has already unfolded beside her. I can accept the real low clearance work order and temporarily byte it into the cloned ID badge. After verification is complete, I'll stuff the access log back into the access log terminal. As for the cameras, I can loop a 90-second feed and simultaneously suppress the first system alert for you. After 90 seconds, the surveillance will return to normal. By then, you better have an identity that can hold up to security scrutiny. That will be enough. She rolled the building map back out. The operation is divided into 3 phases. Phase 1. Intruder intercepts a random work order to create a 90-second system blind spot. Yeah, imagine if it was like Hunter. Wouldn't work out so well. Oh, imagine if it was Architect. Engager. Also wouldn't work out so well. They don't even know the idea of infiltration. Phase 2. I pass through the logistics entrance disguised as an outsourced janitor and enter the target office area. Phase 3. After obtaining the evidence, temporarily evacuate via the northern route. If the northern route fails, switch to the western equipment tunnel. Well, me. Stay in the car. Handle communication logs and be ready to back us up at any time. Doesn't sound like a very important position, because you were never meant to enter the building in the first place. He still was about to retort when she suddenly caught sight of the parking lot across the street. Wait, Igletta! A sedan bearing the logo of the UNC Broadcasting Television Station had just come to a stop. The car door opens, and 2 reporters get out of the one after another. One is holding interview materials while the other is carrying a camera on their shoulder. It's an ongoing interview team. It seems today is an open interview day. She stares at the 2 of them for a few seconds, then turns to look at the main entrance of the Civil Security Bureau. If we can make 20 minutes late, if we can make them 20 minutes late, I can pose as a reporter and enter the office area through the interview appointment. Fortunately, temporary rescheduling notice isn't hard. However, they'll notice the anomaly within 20 minutes at most. I recognize that you're UNC Broadcasting Station's interview credentials, and I know their verification process. As long as the employment information is real, the front desk won't spend too much time verifying the reporter's identity. She takes a portable terminal out of her backpack and quickly brings up the interview team's public itinerary. When Jude is being interviewed, the office will become completely empty. Where's Luca, by the way? Is he in the car? Or he might be laying down in the safe house. Yeah, that's right. I'll stall him in the front, and Igleta will enter through the logistics entrance. Igleta, what do you say? There isn't much fear on her face. Instead, she shows the eagerness of a gambler who just hit the jackpot. I wouldn't really recommend this method of throwing yourself into the fray. If what Theos and the other said is true, that this silver security assembly is a way to control the citizens, then getting too close to Jude could endanger your personal safety. The moment we decided to enter this building, we had already thrown ourselves into the fray. Since the most suspicious person is right in front of us, we can't just take a few pictures from the outside and go back out of fear of being discovered by him. That would be a huge waste of time. Besides, the most valuable things are usually hidden in the most dangerous places, aren't they? We'll stay in touch. If I run into something I can't handle, I'll call for your help. Gisela pointed to the microcommunicator in her ear. When exploring, I often do dangerous things with this mindset, but that's based on the premise that even if a doll is damaged, they can be reborn by replacing their frame. Humans like you, who are used to doing everything hands-on, are actually quite rare. I guess that commander you always mention is a typical part of that minority, right? This has nothing to do with the commander, and the commander is a commander. You are you. Although, Igleta lowers her eyes, rarely showing such a soft expression. I really did miss the commander. But that's a different matter. Successfully completing this filming schedule is also my way of missing the commander. Current dolls always utter such lines that make me feel so awkward. Don't think I don't know what you're like when you face the commander. Wait, how did you... Alright, modifying the action plan. Igleta doesn't give her a chance to continue arguing, directly updating the action route on the terminal. Gisela enters through the main entrance and delays Jude with an interview. Your cover will last for 20 minutes at most. Boy, how nice for them to just stand there. The guys are getting out of the car. They should be walking into the building right now. Your cover will last for 20 minutes at most. At the 18th minute, regardless of whether the interview is finished, you must begin to evacuate. I will enter the director's office through the logistics entrance. Intruder responsible for intercepting work orders, delaying the real-time interview team, and monitoring personnel movements outside the building. If communications are cut, abandon the mission immediately. We will evacuate along our respective predetermined routes and meet at the northern alley entrance. If the northern alley entrance is disposed, head to the secondary rendezvous point. So, Aether's in position? Operation start. Let me use the bathroom real quick. Sorry, I gotta use the bathroom. Gisela passed the front desk verifications using the copy reservation voucher. The forced notice intruder made could at most delay the real interview team by 20 minutes. Once the team was up, her lie would collide head-on with the row people right in front of the security administration. She only has 18 minutes. But at least she was once a real reporter. I really wish I had a doll's brain too. Gisela opens the hastily organized interview outline. Public information, appointment details, and Ju's past speeches are all categorized and written on paper. A familiar feeling rises from the screen, making her feel that a long-dormant part of her heart is slowly rekindling. Not long after, the reception room door opens. A gentle and refined young man walks in. "You must be Director Jude Osborne? I'm Emma Bird, from URNC Broadcasting." What a shitty alias, but whatever. Gisela stands up and places the appointment voucher on the table. "Hello, Miss Emma." Jude just glances at the voucher and shakes her hand symbolically. "Shall we start as soon as possible? After the interview, I still have to host a security assembly." "Of course. My cameraman ran into a little problem, so we'll do an audio interview first, so as long as not to delay your time." "Sure." "Alright, then let's begin." Gisela pressed the recording pen. At the same time, Intruder's hushed voice rang out in her earpiece. "The logistics channel just dispatched an emergency work order. Clear broken glass in the chief's office on the 3rd floor. The opportunity has arrived." "Mr. Jude, during a time in this Civil Security Bureau has been stationed in Hyannis, we can see a significant decrease in the frequency of demonstrations by the citizens in Hyannis compared to before. I would like to ask, what specific regulations and measures has the Security Bureau introduced to facilitate this trend?" "Well, I think, first of all, I need to clarify the purpose of the Civil Security Bureau's existence." Jude cleared his throat. "The reason we exist is to improve the quality of life for the people in the Yellow Zone. Only when the quality of life improves and the people receive tangible benefits will they not be swayed and exploited by rebels inciting their emotions. For example, the Public Peace Assembly we're holding shortly is an important channel for listening to the people's voices and drafting public peace regulations. Furthermore, we need to strengthen general science popularizations and education for the public so the concepts of unity and peace take root in their hearts." What's that bureaucratic drivel? He might as well have said nothing. "Could you elaborate on the Public Peace Assembly you mentioned?" "Of course. You can think of the Public Security Assembly as a periodic town hall meeting. Of course, we don't force everyone to attend. Participation is voluntary. Although participation is voluntary, the processing is very strict. Naturally, we need to ensure that the assembly proceeds safely, orderly, and efficiently." She was getting more and more into the zone. The assembly is generally divided into 3 processes. The first is organizing on-site records. For every assembly, we arrange dedicated staff to record the citizens' demands throughout the event, and we categorize them very specifically, such as environmental politics, property management, public facilities. As long as the citizens raise them, we record them all. After compiling everything, we hold a joint seminar to analyze the feasibility of the suggestions item by item. Combined with the actual situation of the jurisdiction, we filter out impractical demands while providing thorough explanations, and we integrate and optimize the reasonable demands. The third step is formulating the regulations and implementing them. What a very clear process. But I would like to further inquire about the composition of the participants in the joint seminar. The composition... Jude paused for a moment. Maybe it's a good opportunity to pick a side. In addition, from various departments within the UNC government, we will also invite relevant groups under the Orlov Financial Conglomerates, which are deeply involved in the urban construction, to attend as needed. I wanted to say that without their full support, Frannis would not have achieved the results they have today. Idiots! Sort out your own financial backers so quickly. The changes in Frannis are indeed visible to the naked eye, so could we discuss in depth what specific contributions the Orlov Financial Conglomerate has made? 20 minutes later. The interview will end here for now. Thank you for your cooperation, Mr. Jade. Thank you for your hard work too. I'll go attend my peace rally. You're really hands-on. I'd love to see the inside of the peace rally with my own eyes. About that, in order to protect the privacy of the citizens, we do not accept public interviews. Jude looks troubled. However, his fleeting vigilance doesn't escape Gisella's eyes. Of course, completely understandable. By the way, where's the restroom, please? Gisela smiles and puts away her voice recorder, as if it was really just a casual question. The interview has ended, and she has lost the opportunity to keep fishing for information. But she never planned to leave just like that from the beginning. Another set of clothes and a wig are hidden in her backpack. The interview credentials will soon become invalid, but before the real interview team arrives, this disguise is enough for her to disappear into the crowd heading to the assembly. 20 minutes ago, the logistics entrance of the Public Security Bureau. Intruder diverted the real outsourced cleaners to another temporary task, and taking advantage of the logistics system update, temporarily bound that authentic clear broken glass work order to the clone badge. Igletta changes into her pre-prepared cleaning uniform. Her weapon is hidden at the bottom of the cleaning cart, while the data access port and micro camera are stuffed into the side compartments respectively. Everything is ready. She lowers the brim of her hat and pushes the cleaning cart into the inspection channel. Igletta, you're small as fuck, but hey, I guess it still works. Alright, the work order happens to be for the director's office. She places the clone ID badge against the card reader. The red light flashes twice and turns green. Igletta is about to pass through when an entire voice suddenly comes from behind the duty desk. Wait a moment. Igletta stops in her tracks. She doesn't cover her ID badge, nor does she avert her gaze. She simply waits quietly for the inspection. I've never seen you before. Which company? State your employee ID and work order number. Hammer Logistics. Temporary substitute. Employee ID Y071. Work order A344221. Cleaning up glass shards in the director's office on the 3rd floor. She tilts the cleaning cart, revealing the contractor label affixed to the disinfectant box. Temporary substitute? What about the originally scheduled personnel? They were reassigned to handle the disinfectant leak at the east entrance. The dispatcher said this area needs to be back in use in 20 minutes and told me to prioritize it. In the past, she would spend weeks thinking about character habits to play them well. Now it only takes a moment to shape such a fleeting identity. The staff member lowered their head and checked the work order against the terminal records item by item. Number, location, time limit. Not a single error. Why doesn't a photo ID badge look much like you? It was taken when I started the job 2 years ago. Sir, if you still want to re-verify, please sign this liability form for failing to clean the director's office on time for me first. Igletta hands the terminal to him. Her expression is respectful, but her tone offers no room for compromise. The staff member glances at the countdown on the work order. Immediately after, he seems to recall the look of Ju when he gets angry, and the suspicion of his face is instantly replaced by annoyance. He waves his hand. Alright, 3rd floor, out of the elevator, take a left, 2nd room. You're only allowed to handle the work order area. Come back and sign out when you're done. Understood. Igletta pushes the cart and leaves. Behind her, that staff member still stares at her for a moment. It isn't until another urgent message pops up that he lowers his head, cursing under his breath. Your employee ID has already left the normal verification record. From here on, as long as you don't do anything too conspicuous, the cameras won't actively mark you. But that staff member remembered my face. The logistics entrance can no longer serve as an evacuation route. I think Jim would do fine. Or Burrow's probably not. I think she would intentionally fuck things up. Igletta pulled up the janitorial work order and pressed the copy ID badge against the access control. With a soft click, the lock opened. This low clearance badge only grants a single temporary access authorization. Once the door closes, she won't be able to re-enter using the same method. She pushed the door open and left the cleaning in progress sign outside. Igletta didn't approach the terminal immediately. She put on her gloves and gathered the glass shards scattered on the floor one by one. Only when the cleaning cart was parked between the desk and the surveillance camera did she pull open the side compartment. The micro camera immediately activated. Everything in the hallway was captured on the screen on the side of the cleaning cart. I have entered the target office. The surveillance system is entering a 9-second blank period. 3, 2, 1. Countdown starting. Alright. However, the terminal here isn't in a network I can directly take over. At most, I can block one low authorization anomaly alert for you. That's enough. Coordination. Ah, got it. A dense array of documents spread out before Igletta's eyes, and many emails also contained these words. While copying the documents, Igletta opened one and began to read. Loading document. Ah! Words! Project code, coordination, document number KCMA6875, confidential level S. Core project goal, execute emotional and cognitive tuning in experimental jurisdictions based on semi-autonomous biological neurosynaptic bridging technology. Implementation details. By suppressing maladaptive extreme memories and stripping away collective antagonistic empathy, ensure that subjects maintain a standard obedient state in public interactions and social displays. Complement with a multi-dimensional coordination graded screening system to achieve refined classification and redundancy stripping of the yellow zone population. Final expectation. Under the premise of maintaining superficial stability, achieve deep harmless operation of the social structure, permanently eliminate the association and fluctuation risks brought by the Makosha incident, and achieve absolute controllability of public security expectations and the jurisdiction. Huh. Need a swig out of that one. Semi-controlled by mechanical neural implants. Could this be the mycelium Zuckerberg mentioned? Coordination testing. I remember those needles mentioning those terms like that. Just what kind of tests were those? Yeah, I wouldn't even call it brainwashing. It's actually controlling people. As the data copy progress bar advances steadily, Igletta gently presses her comms terminal. Gisela, I got the core files. Did you find any anomalies on Jude's end? Biz. Gisela, please respond if you read me. Intruder, can you locate her communications frequency? The signal disappeared 3 minutes ago. At that time, the auditorium and underground facilities where the public assembly was held just happened to activate their signal jamming network. Didn't I say that's such a stupid method of it's just courting death? Igletta quickly unplugs the data's access device and clears the desk. Keep a close eye on the movements of the perimeter personnel. I'm heading over immediately. Just then, a burst of piercing static noise suddenly erupted on the encrypted channel, followed closely by a series of heavy, almost convulsive gasps. Igletta! Gisela, where are you right now? What's going over there? The assembly is a trap. Damn it. After locking the doors dead, they directly released anesthetic gas. Everyone was knocked out and taken away. Why are you at the CSA? Then, how are you staying awake? I stabbed myself with a stimulant needle you gave me. Damn, it hurts like a motherfucker. Are you crazy? That thing is not meant for humans. I only injected a third of it. My heart is beating so fast it feels like I'm going to explode. But at least I'm wide awake now. Gisela forcefully clenches her teeth, slowing down her groans, but her voice still trembles uncontrollably. I'm in a place that looks like an underground interrogation room. I squinted to take a look on the way here. It seems everyone is being held in solitary confinement. I'm on the second basement level. Should be the second room. Stay there and don't move. I'm coming right now. You know what they say. You know what they say. Bitch should have stayed outside. Gisela's overly rapid heart rate caused her to break out in a cold sweat. She even felt like her vision was starting to develop red double images. But at least it was enough to keep her sufficiently awake in this dim place. Besides the drug, was excitement for also a reason for her rapid heart rate? Okay, that's what it says. Besides the drug, was excitement also a reason for her rapid heart rate? Her active brain allows her thoughts to wander boundlessly. When was the last time I experienced a situation where life and death were so uncertain? 7 years ago? Or that border conflict 8 years ago? Right, back then I was still a war correspondent. The track lane for the purification project passed through a fairly sizable yellow zone settlement. However, the compensation offered was nowhere near enough for them to relocate, nor was a safe enough area planned for them to settle down in. They even only issued a mere dozen or so green zone residency qualifications. Under these circumstances, no one was willing to move. As things went back and forth, conflict erupted between the two sides, gradually escalating into a large-scale armed struggle. It's just that the URNC used their media advantage to completely shirk the responsibility for the conflict. And as a war correspondent, she received orders about to capture images of the brutal resistance of the Yellow Zone people to be used to call upon Green Zone residents to donate war supplies. The same things have been repeatedly played out in the Yellow Zone over the years, gradually evolving into what they are now: more covert, more malicious, and devoid of humanity. I was so foolish back then, believing those people's nonsense, really thinking that some people were making exorbitant demands and pushing their luck. To get the footage, she ventures too deeply into the camp of the Yellowstone settlement, which led to her capture. Under the state of intense opposition and mass indignation at the time, those Yellowstone soldiers almost executed her, a reporter from the UNC on the spot. But she didn't die, and she has lived until now. Thanks to that doll. To this day, she still remembers that doll with long blonde hair fluttering in the wind mixed with coarse sand, even more glaring than the sunlight. Her eyes are the color of honey. Even though they are artificial, they appear very gentle, holding more warmth than many human eyes she's seen. That is the truth of the matter. If you don't believe it, you can investigate it yourself. They really almost killed me. Because they are very angry. And this is also the reason why they are helping them. We will help the people here fight until the very last moment, even if our strength is very weak. Because truth and anger shouldn't be silent. They must be yelled out, sung out, roared out. If you cannot make a sound, use the weapons in your hands to cry out loud. Let guns and cannons seek justice for you. Let swords and blades voice your grievance. Let grenades let grenades blow all hypocrisy and injustice to pieces. It must be deafening. For a doll, you're quite literate. Commander is very excellent human. That's what he said. Of course, it's also my own thought. Go back. Don't recklessly get involved in this turmoil again, and don't be an accomplice anymore. After that, she indeed grew suspicious and truly uncovered the truth. But at the same time, she also saw her own cowardice clearly. She didn't dare make the truth public, but instead chose to resign and escape, retreating into her social media comfort zone of local customs and practices. She lived in a daze, avoiding those conflicts in darkness, until today, or rather, until the day Igleta appeared. She saw the same trap again, the same high and mighty UNC, and the same Yellowstone people treated as expendable chaff. I am not a coward. Perhaps this is what life is like, an endless cycle. The unresolved issues, the uncrossed hurdles, and those lingering regrets will constantly be pushed in front of you by fate until you make a different choice. Commander. Severe pain struck again, and Gisela violently bit her lip, the taste of blood spreading in her mouth. A very faint rustling sound came from the air vent overhead. She struggled to lift her head. Behind the dark louvers, Igleta's silhouette was faintly visible. Gisela. She cried out to her softly. I'm awake. Wait a moment. I'll get you out right now. Just as Igleta was about to break open the air vent, the click of the door lock stopped her movements. An ordinary-looking staff member walked in, pushing a piece of equipment. ID2D26026. Why are you awake? What, am I in your way? No. Saves me a shot, actually. Destination T260264123. I will now conduct a coordination grading test on you. You do not have the right to remain silent. Every piece of your testimony and generated emotions will be recorded as indicators for your subsequent neural regulation. Do not even think about lying. The polygraph will madly detect it and deduct points. Once the score drops to a dangerous threshold, the 3 seconds will initiate. She picked up the cold electrode pads and walked towards Gisela. Get away! Don't touch me! Gisela suddenly struggles violently, her handcuffs crashing against the metal chair with a harsh, loud noise. Her body trembles frantically due to the side effects of the drugs and her feigned fear. The staff members are used to such scenes. They skillfully hold down her shoulders and forcefully attach the electrodes to her temples and carotid artery. But from above, Igleta can see it clearly. While struggling, Gisela suddenly tilts her head towards the ventilation vent. The hidden camera on her chest is still working. She wants to record the entire process of this machine's operations, so she's telling Igleta not to act rashly yet. Don't waste your energy. The sooner we can finish the test, the sooner we can decide whether you can get to go back to being an obedient citizen, or if you'll become fuel for the chemical plant. You activated the instrument, and the machine emitted a low-frequency hum. Gisela pants heavily, cold sweat soaking her collar, but her mouth twists into a slightly grim sneer. Huh. You even brought out an antique like a lie detector? Is this all Jew is capable of? This is the latest model incorporating neuron capture technology. Your heart rate is so fast, your muscles are twitching. Did you take anticoagulants or stimulants beforehand? No wonder you woke up so early. Too bad you just outsmarted yourself. These abnormal physiological readings will only make you die faster. For the rest of the time, the exhausted staff mechanically toss question after question at Gisela. From family background to views of UNC control, and even attitudes towards the McCoach incident. Enduring the agonizing pain of her nerve endings seemingly being torn apart, Gisela's fired back at him with half-true, arrogant rhetoric. The red light on the terminal flashed wildly, and a piercing alarm blared again and again with Gisela's arrogant words. Stop. The staff member looked at the red report generated on the screen, rubbed their brow, and let out a long, weary sigh. I worked here for half a month and seen plenty of stupid people, but I've never seen anyone so eager to seek death as you. I've never even seen level 5 coordination adjustment appear so quickly. You're an extremely dangerous seed of rebellion. The system has already given the results. No neural condition value. Immediate disposal is recommended. Do you think I'm joking with you? Heh, not really. It's just your face is like a joke. Being stubborn won't save your life, you know. Wouldn't it be better just be a good little cog in a machine, instead of you had to get involved in these political struggles you can't even afford to play? He reaches out to press the red call button on the wall. Cogs in the machine. Like you, watching your own kind being sent for destruction, and then comfortably telling yourself, I'm just a worker. This kind of complacence, born from a self-hypnosis, is truly pathetic. What do you know? The staff member hands stops abruptly in midair, a stung anger suddenly bursting from their numb eyes. There's nothing at the end of this rebellion. My parents were the so-called resistance. They drove away the UNC and won their freedom. And what happened? Without the UNC's management, they didn't even know how to provide a town with water and electricity. In the end, fighting over the meager supplies left by the Frontline conglomerates, they died at the hands of their so-called comrades. He stared condescendingly at the painfully panting Gisela, as if looking at an unreasonable lunatic. Don't you think you're speaking out of truth? Don't think you're speaking out for the truth. You're just a bunch of self-righteous idiots who know nothing. When it comes to being dirty, the rebels are no different from the UNC. Since that's the case, why don't we choose the one that's let us survive? Because the truth is the truth. Even if it's covered in mud, someone still has to do it. And dig it out. Gisela coughs up a mouthful of bloody spit, but her gaze is more resolute than ever. Your parents failed, but that doesn't mean the RC is right. You're saying there's no difference between them? You're just using their failures to mask your own cowardice. Unreasonable lunatic. Go stick to truth in hell. Go stick to your truth in hell. He turns around in anger, slamming his palm onto the red call button. The ventilating louvers come crashing down. A slender figure drops from the sky like some kind of predatory animal, her knee pressing precisely on the staff member's nape, slamming him hard to the ground. Who the... The violent impact makes him see stars. Before he can even struggle, an icy steel needle has already pierced his carotid artery. Sleep well. You can clock out now. The staff member's pupils quickly dilate, but in a final second before losing consciousness, his babbling fingers manage to firmly press a portable alarm on his waist as he falls. A shrill alarm instantly tears through the dead silence of the basement. Crap. What are you trying to look cool for? He let it in by her pulling a syringe. She just whipped out a tactical knife, backhanded, and cleanly sliced through the straps, tying Gisela down. Even later, and I might have even managed to fully destroy my camera. This is all for the views. I'm gonna be famous. The moment she was freed from her bindings, Gisela tried to stand, but her legs were completely devoid of strength. Her vision went dark as she pitched stiffly forward. He let her grab her by the collar and forcibly hauled her up. Save it. To get famous, you first have to stay alive. Otherwise, by the time you're famous, your encyclopedia page will only have a black and white photo. Then let's hurry up and leave. You can't climb the veterans staff in your condition. Intruder, we're going to have to fight our way to the front. Map out the shortest breakout route for us. You sure are bossy. The guards from the main entrance are closing in on the basement, but there's a sliver of hope through the north passage. Let's stick to the route. You're on your own for the rest of it. Copy that. Gisela, can you still run? Don't underestimate journalists. This way. Multiple footsteps stumble and run through the corridor. A door slowly opens after they pass by. Several petite figures peek their heads from the door. He ran away. Honestly, we could have pretended not to know and let them go. Now the alarms have gone off. We have to go after them. Keep a good distance from them. Don't get too deeply drawn into combat. For us right now, every frame is very important. Trash! You're all trash! A doll taking a half-crippled human with her, and you still let them escape? Hearing the subordinate's report, Jude can't help but feel anger rise in his heart. His hand instinctively reaches to the side but grabs nothing, making him realize he has no more cups left to smash. There were two of them, actually. There was another one outside the building running interference. I heard that doll looked weird and packed a lot of firepower. You should have said, I heard a doll looked pretty hot. It packed a lot of firepower. Our security mechs couldn't be deployed quickly enough, and Cordyceps and the others were mostly busy with the disposal or newer implant procedures in the interrogation room, so they just let them get away. It was out of control. The staff member's head was wrapped in thick gauze. He looked like he had just woken up from a coma when we called in for a report, and his resentment was palpable, even towards his superior. By the way, can't I take my sick leave? My head like this, it counts as work injury, right, Mr. Jude? Looking at his unmotivated subordinate, Jude felt his dignity being challenged once again. Get lost! After his subordinate left, Jude slumped into his chair. Because the investment had reached its limit, the conglomerate would no longer send him additional troops. The UNC didn't know about his shady business, and just told the local security team to cooperate with him normally. Cordyceps had also been dropping the ball at crucial moments. What kind of undertroop is he running under his command? Suddenly, a person's face flashes through his mind. Do I really have to ask a person to help? Damn it. He could clearly picture her arrogant face, her unsparing mockery, and that obnoxious smile, even though she's just a civilian. But he had no other choice now except to dial that comms code. You better have something else going on, Mr. Osborne. I'm very busy. I'm in need of your support. Huh? What? I can't hear you. Speak up. I'm in need of your support! Reason? Unidentified intruders have infiltrated Hyrannus. They seem to have stolen all the data related to synchronization rate, and managed to escape after going through the test site. Current estimates suggest there are 2 dolls and 1 human. The 2 dolls are tactical dolls. If we deploy the local security team directly, it might arouse suspicion. The synchronization rate test hasn't covered the entire town yet. Don't you have that, Cordyceps? I remember the conglomerate gave you a lot of them, right? To advance the subsequent coordination plan, we can't afford to lose too many Cordyceps. I'm really out of ideas. Mayor Lentine, I beg you to help me. Base, dignity, none of it seemed important at the moment. Jude lowered his head, ready to endure Lentine's mockery. Huh, is that so? Okay. I'll send an elite squad from Monkey Security. You just focus on guarding the city gates and don't let the intruders escape with a bunch of your data. Unexpectedly, Lentine's tone was incredibly peaceful. So peaceful that Jude felt it was somewhat bizarre. But right now, he couldn't afford to care about that. He had to be careful with his words and actions. No matter how low class this woman was, she was his savior for now. Saying one wrong thing might upset her. Understood. Thank you very much, Mayor Lentine. Agent Lentine, didn't you say before that you wouldn't clean up Jude's messes? After closing the comms, Lisa was a bit confused. I did say that, and I'm indeed not cleaning up Jude's mess. Then you are... could it be that phone call you took last night? Exactly. Rapidly advancing Yellow Zone control is indeed the primary task right now. What's more important is maintaining the outward appearance of justice and correctness for this action. Any possibility of damaging their reputation must be snuffed out. Those people from the consortium can no longer see any prospects for this project. They want to just dump this hot potato as soon as possible. Lisa, you must remember, holding on to even the slightest bit of hope in human nature will get you killed. Fuck. Graded neural regulation and handling, level 1. Harmless, complete, latent strain imitation. Return to normal social life, level 2. Potential threats. Target correction. Intensive monitoring, level 3. Mild threat. Utilize strain for efficient apprehension. Transfer to detention zone. Conduct neural intervention to boost loyalty, level 4. Severe threat. Abandon neural intervention. Transfer to the partner's institutions for disposal, level 5. Extreme threat. Seize all interventions, destroy immediately. Subjects assessed to at level 1, 2, 3 will undergo coordination reassessment every 3. I don't know. I do not know. That was too much text. It went way past what the tech boss had. Theo's hand holding the document trembled, and the other Oathkeepers displayed varying degrees of resentment. They completely test people as less than human! The collaborating experimental organization mentioned here probably refers to Paradies. Otherwise, there wouldn't be so many entities resembling Nidos. This Mr. Jude is clearly colluding with Paradies, though it's unclear whether this is his personal action or if someone is secretly pulling the strings. Whether it's his personal action or something else, as long as this is exposed, it will be enough to give these people a world of trouble. Miss Gisela, please don't move around. I'm trying to treat your wound. I heard that to stay awake, you inject yourself with the stimulant method, Elid. You really don't care about your life. Are you complimenting me? Huh? Where'd you get that idea? I just can't figure out what it could possibly be worth humans trading their single precious lives for. The answer to that question is different for everyone. For me, it's the truth. A truth sufficient to make up for all her past cowardice and regrets. Enough to help her rediscover her true self. What? Not about money anymore? What are you talking about? To me, the truth is money and traffic. The footage from Fernandez, combined with the interviews by Andre's squad, I've already mapped out the timeline for the entire documentary. I wish I could head back to the studio right now and pressure Drow into handing me a rough cut within 3 days. The pain and exhaustion didn't dampen Gisela's spirit. On the contrary, she became even more excited. The impending fruit of glory gave her tremendous motivation. On the way back just now, I've received a message from Tokarev. She sent me the drone distraction coordinates and rendezvous time. It's tomorrow evening. But for the evacuation route, I think it's still necessary to explore it in advance and clear any potential obstacles to avoid unexpected complications. I'll leave these to you then? We? Intruder raised an eyebrow. I've noticed you're getting more and more comfortable bossing me around. You've already helped us out this much. Helping a little more won't cost you anything. You're so self-righteous about it that it's a bit infuriating. Some dolls say they're angry, but I know she's different from the rest of Sengo's fairy dolls. She? Some dolls say they're angry, but I know you're different from the rest of Sengo's fairy dolls. You're very gentle. Enough. Stop saying useless things. When are we leaving? Not now. We just escaped all the way from the Public Security Bureau and had triggered the town security system. The inspections are at their strictest right now. We have to wait at least 3 to 5 hours. We can't be too late, or we'll miss the rendezvous time with the drone. In other words, You have at least 3 hours to rest and reorganize? Yes, we'll set out when the time comes. By the way, Iwata. Listening to the conversation, Gisela on the side seems to think of something. How many people can the drones send by your comrades hold? Should be 4. Right after saying that, Iwata realized something. Oh, we also have 3 oath guards. When we discussed this, we didn't know we would run into them. Unexpectedly, these oath guards nonchalantly wave their hands. It's fine. We can stay here. The food reserves are quite plentiful. It's more important that you send out the materials you have. We just heard from this young man that you're going to shoot a big documentary exposing everything these people have done to the people of the Yellow Zone. As long as these things are exposed, under the pressure of the public opinion, the URNC will definitely handle the situation in Haranis. When that time comes, we'll have a chance to escape. Did Luca tell you that? Yeah. The young man, who had been huddled in the corner reviewing the footage Gisela recorded, raises his head. He glances over evasively, seemingly wanting to say something to Gisela, but not quite daring to. Luca, don't be afraid. Just say what you just told us. It seems that while I was away, you recovered pretty well and even made friends. A room that can block signals indeed gives him a great sense of security. At least for now, he doesn't seem to have worry about when his head might explode. But Luca is thinking about something else at this moment. What do you want to say? Luca looks at Gisela, the boss who protected his dignity in front of others, his role model all along. Even though he had lost his composure like that, she had no complaints about him. But he didn't know if she really didn't mind it, or if she had completely given up on expecting him, a burden, to do anything useful. No, I have nothing to say. After a long struggle, the young man lowers his head, his eyes returning to the camera. That night in Haranis is deathly silent, except for the faint glow of streetlights on the road. There isn't a single gleam of light coming from inside the buildings. Wait, don't go over yet. There's a patrol mech. That's perfect. Let's start with that. According to new coordinates given by Tokuram, it's better to take this route. There aren't many surveillance and patrol mechs on this route. It's destined to be a gorgeous performance by one-sided crushing. Even so, we still can't underestimate the enemy. This is our evacuation route for later. Don't worry, you can underestimate them. Like that. What's we got left? I'm curious. Alright, 3 more nodes. Oh, might get done in like the 4th hour. Maybe the 3rd hour. Behind the clearance gate of Haranis, Jude is waiting anxiously. Why aren't they here yet? Is that woman linking reliable at all? The low roar of engines approach from afar, slowly coming to a halt behind the gate, putting Jude on high alert. They're here! They're here! The gate slowly opened. Behind it was a well-equipped Mongol security armed convoy. Though not large in number, they possessed an elite aura, at least looking far more imposing than the local security teams of Haranis. The convoy slowly drives into the city and stops in front of Jude. The window rolls down immediately. Mr. Osborne, we are the Mongol security armed squad sent to provide support. Please transmit the firearms usage permit and the map of the Haranis. Admit this region to us. Right away, I got it ready. Jude signals his subordinate to hand the data over to the squad leader. The Doll Squad under my command is already on standby. I've already transferred the command authorization to you. You can dispatch them as you please. Doll Squad? The Monk Security Squad leader glances at the group of bizarre-looking dolls following close behind Jude, frowning beneath their mask, unnoticed by Jude. Alright, I understand. He turned his head towards the person sitting in the shadows of the second row. I'll leave those dolls to you. You should know how to use them. Yeah, I'll put them to good use. See, I'm going to ban you for spoiling. Relying on her proficient scouting and exploration skills honed by years of adventuring, Igletta carved out a relatively discreet shortcut. With the coordination of Intruder's formidable electronic warfare capabilities, the obstacle clearing work progressed extremely quickly. Along the way, whether it was patrolling mechs or surveillance cameras, they implanted pre-recorded empty street views into them, ensuring that the monitors would not be able to track their whereabouts for a short while. We have less than a third of the way to the objective. At our current speed, we should be able to return to the safe house to rendezvous with Casella and the others earlier than expected. You really have been a huge help, Intruder. More importantly, did you all just ignore the elephant in the room? The elephant in the room? I won't beat around the bush. Based on previous circumstances, we can basically confirm that the male human is carrying that fungus. He's been infected. Indeed. Igletta didn't avoid the question. The fact that we weren't trapped by those strange needles called cordyceps on the way to the Public Security Bureau proves that Casella wasn't infected. Then, in the restaurant earlier, the reason we were able to ambush so quickly, or they were able to ambush so quickly, means that the one carrying the fungus was most likely Luca. The fact that he wasn't killed by an internal detonation at the time might be because they were using him as a convenient tracking device. It seems you know better than anyone, so why didn't you say a word just now? I didn't think Luca was in any condition to handle the stress of discussing this issue. Moreover, the possibility of it being a coincidence isn't entirely zero. You saw the data too. There's a distance limit to controlling that fungus to execute the termination sequence. If we plan a stealthy route and move quickly, it's possible to escape Haranis before Cordyceps discovers us. I admire your optimism, but I must also remind you that when it comes time to evacuate, things most likely won't go as smoothly as we imagine. One misstep and that guy's head will go swoosh, boom. Intruder spread her 5 fingers, making a fireworks explosion gesture. Or perhaps the other party will use this as a threat. Huh, I can almost foresee such a plot. You and a foolish human female, under their coercion, step off the drone, obediently stay put, and then get captured. That's definitely how it'll go. However, There is also a possibility that the restaurant incident was just a coincidence. Luca isn't affected, he just caught a normal cold. And what's the possibility of this possibility? Oh, and what's the probability of this possibility you calculated? Let's hear it. 5%. Considering this 5% as your unnecessary sympathy and throw it away as soon as... Look out! A pale blue light gradually emerges on the horizon, shining on a relatively tall building nearby. A glaring spot of light triggers Igletta's instinctive reaction. A split second after the flash of light, a crater appeared right where Intruder had been standing. Igletta tracked Intruder, rolling across the ground several times before ducking into the shadow of a building. It's an enemy attack? Impossible! I disabled all the surrounding surveillance. How could... As soon as the words left their mouth, the two of them sensed hostile sounds coming in on them from all directions. We can't let them lock our evacuation route. Keep moving. Igletta and Intruder were forced to run towards the other streets. The sounds also seemed to detect their movements and pursued them relentlessly from behind. Finally, after crossing several blocks, the things chasing after them appeared before their eyes. Is Monkey security? Tactical dolls, human infantry, armored vehicles. The lineup blocking their paths exceeded their expectations, and without exception, these people, or things, bore the Monkey security logo. Igletta had long investigated the background of this enemy organization that has stood in opposition to the commander for so long. Could they be concealed control forces? Is the conglomerate also involved in the coordination plan? Who knows? But to deploy so many troops just to deal with the two of us, they're really pulling all the stops. Listen up, you two dolls over there. Put down your weapons and do not attempt to resist. Your illegal intrusion has severely disrupted the social security and order of Rannis. You are now to be retrieved and processed. A gunshot was Igletta's response. Neither side wasted any more words. Fire was officially exchanged. Fire? What about missiles? Oh, yeah, okay. The enemy's numerical advantage prevents Igletta and Intruder from fighting head-to-head, forcing them into nearby buildings to fight in guerrilla war. Even though they were cautious enough, a bullet still broke through their defenses. Crap! The bullet tore straight through Igletta's wrist, sending her entire hand, along with her handgun, flying over 10 meters away. The severed wrist exposed the mechanical structure beneath her synthetic skin, fizzing with electric sparks. Don't just stand there, go! Intruder tossed out a flashbang. Stunned by the intense light, the opposition was temporarily suppressed. Taking advantage of this gap, the two of them moved to another floor. Temporarily hiding in a room, Igleta took out electrical tape she carried with her to bandage her wound. Looking up, she saw an intruder taking a step back from the half-open window. Are there people outside? Yes. They are patrolling guards and armored vehicles downstairs. Jumping down is just throwing ourselves into their nest. Damn it. We had to take another route. Shush. Intruder suddenly makes a hustling gesture. Her auditory module caught multiple footsteps approaching their direction. One was relatively unhurried, while the other footsteps sounded a bit strange, not like a human's. The footstep stops at the door. Intruder and Igleta exchanged a glance. Igleta drew her tactical dagger and quietly crept up to press against the doorframe, while Intruder leveled her weapon at the door. Igleta thrust her knife out of them at that moment. The door opened, but stopped abruptly the instant her eyes met the person entering. Don't shoot, Intruder! Wait, who is this? Due to Igleta's intervention, Intruder's movement paused. That split second of distraction was enough for something that darted quickly into the room to pounce on her and knock her down. Coolidge, stop! They're not enemies. She's Synchro's fairy, but not enemy. The weight pressing down on her instantly lifted, and Intruder took a closer look. A robot dog? Oh, woo! The robot dog obediently squats in front of her, its steel tail waggling back and forth, and its owner. VSK-94? Why are you here? With short blonde hair and bright blue eyes and giant tits, Igleta immediately recognizes the newcomer as an old acquaintance from the Griffin era. It's Nikita now. I was entrusted by Tokura to meet up with you. Mind letting me in first? Nikita entered the room and closed the door. I'll keep it short. I've been working undercover in Monk security for the past few years. Past few years? That doesn't line up, but whatever. Passing intel to the commander and all the others. I'm currently stationed as a prison guard in Makosh. Tokura sent to me on your situation earlier. So I've been looking for a dispatch opportunity to come to Frontline and help you. Last night, we received an internal message that a team was being sent to Frontline to assist with public security. One of them happened to break their leg and couldn't carry out the mission, so I filled in. That broke leg had a pretty convenient... Oh, that leg broke at a pretty convenient time. Thanks to Coolidge. Nikita patted the mechanical dog's head. This low-grade machine feels a bit... But why didn't Tokura tell us about you? Your communication frequency, though encrypted, has been breached. Although previous messages were erased in time, an assessment suggests there's a high probability the drone's coordinates have been exposed, re-establishing contact risks being tracked. So I was sent to tell you directly. The drone's coordinates have been changed. Here's a new address. As she speaks, Nikita shoves a slip of paper into Igleta's hand. Also, I've arranged the patrol routes for those Nitas, leaving an escape channel for you. There aren't many security cameras along the way, but you still need to be careful. You don't have to wait until evening. You can go right now. Suddenly, a voice comes through Nikita's walkie-talkie. Nikita, why is it taking you so long to search the 1st floor? Are there any anomalies? Search complete. No anomalies found. Return to the squad at 0510. Copy that. Return to the squad as soon as possible. The walkie-talkie indicator's light went out. I'll head down in a bit and draw the enemy. You guys just leave through the door, or through the window. Expect it in 5 minutes. Okay, thank you. We're companions, is what I should do. Coolidge? Woo! Hearing his master's call, Coolidge cheerfully darted to its master's side, while Intruder's hand was left hanging awkwardly in midair. What are you doing? Nothing. Intruder smoothly retracts her hand, placing it by her mouth to let out a light cough. I just feel this thing is a bit cuter than a diner gate. Could I apply for one from Agent 2? Well then, I'll be going now. The first ray of morning sunlight rose, shining through the gaps of the window onto Nikita's hair. She revealed a smile as radiant as the morning sun. Wishing you both a successful evacuation. No. See where to go. Click play. Try the process bar. Are you guys going to post the situation here on the internet? Could you please let me see a few words? Thanks. Thank you. Then I'll say, Mom, I'm sorry. I lost my left leg. I can't make it home in time for your birthday. I'm sorry. Other than that, everything will be fine. I'm still alive, and I have food to eat right now. Son said they'll take me home in a while. Oh, hold on. Wake me to come back! Next paragraph. Anson, you idiot. How could you just die like that? I don't know anyone here. I told you we shouldn't have come to the Yellow Zone to look for work. Why am I the only one this lucky? Why do all the unfortunate things happen to me? I want to go home. Next paragraph. Mike, Lisa, please don't worry. And don't listen to the nonsense on the news. We're all fine. The war hasn't reached our village. Don't worry at all. And certainly don't come back. It's so hard to get a job in Satellite City. Mom and Dad will always love you. Next paragraph. Mom, Dad, goodbye. Drag the progress bar. Who said we failed? Did they take Cliffwatch? Did they capture Turul? Makos wasn't conquered by those idiots from Monkey Security either. We will keep fighting. As long as the bosses don't give up, the Hussars will always fight for the suffering people of the Yellow Zone. Also, let me tell you a secret. Our boss was just in a meeting with the commander yesterday. We're about to start our counterattack. You'll see. Dragon Progress Bar. Damn, she's hot. She's part of the Frontiers. I'm just an underground broker delivering supplies. I don't know anything about wars. This is just everyday life in Yellow Zone, right? It's just that sometimes I wonder, does this Mayor Lintine really know what kind of person she's messed with? Those who fight often know that you should absolutely never provoke someone who is fearless. And although the people in Yellow Zone are impoverished, they don't have such great equipment either. Of course, this is just a bit of my personal experience. After all, I'm just an underground broker. Oh, right. I suggest you leave this area as soon as possible. I heard among security supply troops will be passing through. The brothers on the streets have been a bit edgy lately. If anything happens, you don't want to get dragged into this. This is free advice too, you know. Alright, Primo Tomatoes. Won't you buy some? When did she appear? Like 2 weeks ago? 2-3 weeks ago? She was on the latest Frontier. I've always felt like I'm not even a human being. When George ruled the city, he always dragged Mr. Vasily in. And I saw him kick Mr. Vasily in the stomach. I saw it all, but I never said a word to Mr. Vasily. I'm really not human. After Mr. Vasily became the leader, not only did he not hold me accountable for back then, he even shared the medicine from year 11 with me. And everyone else. They were all my good brothers. All good people. Every one of them brave. Now they're all gone. Gone. Miss Casella, if possible, please make sure this documentary airs at prison. This prison LocalCache has locked up too many people who shouldn't be there. They toiled away their whole lives to build their homeland, only to end up like this. I'll tell you whatever you want to know. Just consider it making amends for me being a deserter. I don't understand politics, but as for swallowing of the Yellow Zone resources, I don't really agree. He was clearly the one who established a vital lifeline of production, trade, and transportation. My logistics station is only able to run thanks to him. Is that how he's been being promoted in the Green Zone and White Zones now? Black Sheep's Feast? Never seen it. A weary sigh. I don't know what to say. I had already given up hope for this world. It was that Tomato King who gave me the motivation and meaning to keep on living. So to us, he's a good person. Why do good people never get what they deserve? I think maybe there are still things I can do. Those shelters called tomato cans. They aren't only repairable by dolls, right? My son and husband are still in the coast right now. Their fate's unknown. After the authorities closed civilians' transport channels and cut off communications, I had even less chance of getting news about them. They don't issue casualty lists. Department phones are always busy. They're just forcibly suppressing the news. Right now, I can only work day by day at this location station, or this logistics station. Who knows? By the time they come back alive, I'll have enough money to buy goods and vegetables and meat so they can have a hot meal. If they aren't that lucky, then. The Black Sheep's Feast? I've seen it. It's absolute nonsense. Let me tell you, young comrade. What you're doing right now is very meaningful. The world isn't just black and white, but that doesn't mean we should confuse right and wrong. My daughter participated in the Battle of LocalCache. Although she died on the battlefield, I am truly proud of her. I think she's a hero no less than that commander. What should I say next? Can't you see? I will take my daughter's place and continue fighting until LocalCache is taken back. Yes, our squad has one more member. His name is Liam. He is our captain and the oldest among us. During the defense of Makosh, in order to cover our retreat, he was crushed to death by an enemy armored vehicle. Such a huge multi-ton vehicle just ran over him. The driver didn't even blink. He remained unmarried his whole life. Sometimes I felt like he was raising the three of us as his own children. When he made mistakes, he was scold us severely. When we did well on our tasks or drills, he would praise us. During holidays, he would also use his meager salary to buy us some good food that we couldn't usually eat. Very prongante. Have you ever had it? It's a magical fruit that looks like a pomegranate on the outside, but the seeds inside are flavored like different fruits. Yeah, you had it? Is this thing common in Greenstone? It's almost never seen around here. It seems Liam really went out that time. Pomegranate is so delicious. I really want to eat it again. With everyone. With Liam. Sorry, right now I don't want to talk. I'm not a commander. Though, it was just a coincidence. I secretly kept the kitten in the barracks, named Kiki. Fluffy, warm, and very affectionate. One night, Kiki chewed open the cage and ran out. I was so worried and looked everywhere for her. Then I bumped into someone wearing a red and black combat uniform. Someone I'd never seen before. That person asked me what was wrong, and said they could help me look. Truly a gentle person. In the end, we found it together. He volunteered to help me catch it. But he spent ages trying without success, and ended up with a handful of bloody scratches. Later, a few doggerels helped me catch it. Later, I found out that person was a commander. Before evacuating, I actually went to the military camp once. I wanted to take Kiki with me. But when I went back, I found that Kiki had chewed open the cage and ran away again. Maybe she was frightened by the sounds of gunfire. I hope she can survive. She's still so small. I hope she and the commander can both survive. Pause playback. Complex emotions churned in his chest, almost overflowing. These are people who have experienced real war. Compared to them, I... Still reading? Aren't you going to take a moment to rest? The person suddenly appearing before him made Luca instinctively wipe his moist eyes quickly. We'll be heading out soon. It's not too late to watch it then. I can't sleep. That's normal. Under these circumstances, probably only these children who are accustomed to war can sleep. Isela looked towards the three young oath guards. They were huddled on the small cot, already fast asleep. Thinking of the varied expressions on the video, Luca's lips trembled slightly. I'm sorry. You say something? I'm sorry, boss, for what I said earlier. What words? It's just... The young man completely dares not raise his eyes. Saying things like, I don't care about the ozone people, I don't want to care about the Tomato King, let them die, and so on. I wasn't thinking when I said it, and now I've seen the real people. Oh! That's indeed a very bastard thing to say. Whether in reality or on the internet, sharp words are a hurtful weapon. And also, saying that to you, boss, got me into trouble and all that. Was completely said in the moment of anger. It's not true. I'm sorry. Obviously, I was on I was the one who insisted on coming along the whole way. I betrayed your trust. I never trusted you in the first place. Then why do you speak up for me in front of the doll in black? That's two different things. I knew early on that at some point during the trip, you wouldn't be able to take it. I just didn't expect it to be in that way. In our line of work, you can't succeed without going through this kind of tampering. Did you ever encounter anything like when you were a war correspondent, boss? Were you as calm as you are now? Not at all. I almost died back then. Isela tells Luca about the experience, skipping the beginning and end. At that time, the blade of the machete was only a few centimeters away from my neck, and then it was blocked by that blonde doll. I can't imagine. There are many things you can't imagine. Just like before we set off, couldn't you also not imagine what you're experiencing now? At that time, his mind was only focused on doing something big, and he never carefully considered what kind of price he would have to pay. There's no need to be so hard on yourself. People can't imagine things beyond their own knowledge and experience. Only by experiencing it, surviving it, and moving past it, do the things left behind truly become your own. The fact that you can reflect on this now shows that some things have already started to settle here. Isela pointed at her own heart. Luca unconsciously touched his own chest. Is something really settling there? Can he live long enough to use that? A sudden, urgent commotion outside the iron door interrupts the momentary peace in the safe house. The seemingly asleep young oath guard leaps out from the cot to check the surveillance. Mr. Gleda and the others are back. Isela, Luca, no time to explain. We've been locked onto by our pursuers. We had to go now. The moment she enters the door, Igleda shouts at them. Are they already here? The drones. The quarters of our previous drone were discovered, so the rendezvous point was temporarily changed. Although there aren't many surveillance cameras on that escape route. We haven't scouted it beforehand, so we need to move quickly. Alright. Luca, quick, pack up. Stuff the camera and memory cards into the protective bag just in case. These are the most important things. Okay. While packing up, Luca suddenly noticed an unfriendly gaze fall upon him. He looked up and saw the doll in black. What is she saying to the boss and Miss Igleda? Why is she looking at me while talking? It's exactly like when he was in school and the classmates around him would whisper about his bizarre outfits. Reading her lips, she seems to be saying, "Are you really going to bring him?" Right. Inside my body, there's... We've already discussed this. I think the chance of escaping safely is very high. I don't agree with leaving Luca here. How big is highly likely? 5%? Actually, although Intruder's words are unpleasant to hear, she's right. If we bring Luca along, first, his mortality rate will increase, and second, our chances of getting caught will also rise. However, Gisela changed the subject. If we're leaving Luca here, I'm staying here too. You need to take oath cards with you. Don't let your drone seats go empty. Come on, can we not do this now? After all, the captain must go down with the ship. But the concept should be more... The captain should be the last one to leave the ship. My crew member is still here. Each and every one of you, do you think you're shooting a movie? Gisela smiles breezily. leaving the intruder in no mood to continue her taunting. Don't you want to be famous once traffic? Is it really okay to give up now? Even without me, with this solid material, Piss's mailbox can still become famous. Igletta, please give these materials to an editor in our studio. Hold on. In our studio, named Zhao. He understands my vision and will definitely be able to use these materials to cut a perfect demo. As for hosting, leave it to the captain of the other squad. Andre has been with me for so long, and is familiar with our channel's hosting style. It's time for him to take charge. Isela listed the upcoming arrangements one by one as if giving her last words, not noticing that Luca had come up behind her. Boss. Huh? Luca, I have to tell you something. Calm down, we might... I already know, boss. Luca reveals a bitter smile. I'm willing to stay, but boss, I hope you can leave. What? Boss, you are the face of Piss's mailbox. Or rather, it's one and only representative. So many viewers and fans stay because of you. Only with the boss hosting can these materials achieve their maximum effect. Luca. So that more people can see what the people here, what we're going through. Tears flow from his eyes. As a male, he's always been prone to crying since he was little, and he's been mocked plenty for it. But right now, he doesn't care at all about that. I'm a very vain person. Boss, before I set out, all I was thinking was, I'm participating in a big project. I'm going to make my name for myself. I'm going to make everyone who bullied me look at me with new eyes. I'm going to make my family proud of me. But there are so many people in this world struggling to survive, living in pain, facing things far more terrible than my trivial little issues. I feel ashamed. I don't want to be the reason why the world never gets to hear these people's voices. Otherwise, I really would be just like what that doll in black said. A stumbling block. I didn't call you a stumbling block. Luca looked at Intruder with tear-blurred eyes. I think call him cannon fodder, but now, damn it, what's a bit hard to say? Thank you. Thank you, Miss Intruder. I originally thought you were very annoying, but now I think you're actually pretty nice. Anyway. Luca sniffled. I'm not as talented as Boss, the core of the project, and so calm, and I can't be a great person like Miss Igletta and Miss Intruder's commander, but this is... I really want to do something now. Luca spoke incoherently and messily, but no one in the room felt he was being pathetic at this moment, including Intruder, who haven't even lifted her eyelids. The pain of one person cannot be compared to another's. I really can stay behind to keep you company, Luca. He saw his expression softens. If she had a mirror right now, she would definitely be frightened by her current self. It's like she used some kind of wishing item and completed a personality switch. No need. Desperately trying to stop his hiccups, Luca raises his head. His gaze gradually firming. I hope the boss can also do the best she can too. Luca. Miss Isela, don't worry. I'll stay here too and take good care of Luca. The young Oakard girl steps forward, patting her chest in assurance. Her eyes were sparkling, but her cheeks were slightly flushed. Theo on the side saw through her thoughts and walked up with a grin. Our safe house can block signals. It's very safe. Don't worry. I'll stay behind protecting too, so... He gave the big young man next to him a forceful push. Can Alan take the empty seat? But I don't want to. I want his ouch. Alan was so anxious that he unconsciously yelled out a complete sentence fluently, only slapped on the back of the head by Theo. Stay for what? Don't you know how much food you consume in a day? Get out of here. Go find a good place to stay for us first. When Francis is liberated and we get out, we'll go meet up with you. Alright. Things seem to have headed towards a predetermined conclusion. Further evasion is just a waste of time. Although some things are the right thing to do, some emotional release is still needed to smooth out the pain and unease of the impending separation. A second before leaving the safe house, Luca calls out to Gisela. Boss? Gisela turns her head. Boss, you must make that documentary. Get those bastards a piece of our mind. I will. I want my name on it. I want my sole billing. My name needs to be right in the middle. Have Zhao use my favorite cursive font. Gisela laughed. I'll make sure he does. Take care of my cat. Take care of Mariana for me. She's a very picky eater and only eats pigeons meat cat food. Alright. And there isn't. Or saying there isn't anymore. Go quickly before I regret it. Please go, boss. I'm going, Luca. I will definitely get you out. Gisela patted Luca's head. You must have seen a similar scene in some script, right? Intruder has seen it. At that time, she was full of praise for the description of that scene, her heart filled with a surging, individual, heroic passion. Now, however, she felt a strange sourness spreading through her neural cloud. Although faint, it was enough for her to catch and perceive it. The feeling I had then, and the feelings I have now, is there a difference? Shut up! The gate of the safe house slowly closed. A second before closing the door, Igleta saw Luca inside, clutching his head and slowly squatting on the ground. People, humans, when facing inescapable fear and fate, are so small and helpless, yet also so tall and resolute. They aren't you, yet they let me see the little marks you left behind. Commander, while you're away, I will definitely do my best to protect the things you want to protect. And I will fight with all my might to protect you. Piranha's in the early morning is still fast asleep. There are a few people on both sides of the street. Plus, with Nikita's help, the group path to the target point is unimpeded. In a short while, they arrive at the target point located in the ruined building complex. It should be that watchtower up ahead. Igleta points to the towering tower, faintly visible in the morning mist in the distance. If we can really hack into the security system in the watchtower from here and can control, the drone can enter the border of Francis directly. Is this distance okay, intruder? It's a bit far, but we can try. Who's there? Sensing the subtle noise behind the ruins, Intruder swiftly readies her weapon, and Igleta immediately shields the two humans. Come out, you rat tail can't be hidden anymore. A petite figure strolls out from behind the ruins, her hands raised loosely beside her head in a gesture of surrender. Hello there, Commander's dolls. It's you. We crossed paths before, but having such an amicable and friendly chat. Is this a first? Amicable, friendly? It seems our definitions of these two words differ. You didn't show up in a swarm, nor did you attract anyone from Bank Security. What exactly are you trying to do? Igletta's muzzle closely tracks Cortez's glabella, but the latter pays it no mind, moving freely. I know the sister, but the robot puppy, I almost said robot something else, is your comrade, and she is secretly helping you. So I didn't tell anyone, not even the other Nidos. I came here out of my own individual will. I won't stop you sisters from leaving. In fact, I hope we can leave and take me with you. You want to defect to the commander? Oh my, is Paradise doing that poorly nowadays? Indeed. As a Nido, there really isn't much room for development in Paradise. We can only act according to orders from above. Seeing you sisters able to freely choose what you want to do, I'm truly envious. Persecuting so many people in Paradise was not my intention either. I think if I served that open-minded commander, this kind of thing wouldn't happen. The young girl's furrowed dot-like eyebrows make her look like an aggrieved Shiba Inu, and she looks at Igletta with an eager gaze. Can you sisters take me away? Do I think she's lying? It's a half-truth. She does want to go, but she wants to inspect the third-generation dolls in order to become them. She's definitely not doing it to be a good person. I can help you disable the watchtowers alert, so even letting a few more drones in won't be a problem. Forgive me, but I decline. I can't trust Paradise. Any of them. Especially a Nido with parasitic abilities like you. Bringing you back will only result in me deducing the outbreak of another disaster. Besides, are you really a Nido? Igletta's words were resolute. Cortez's expression didn't change, but her eyes grew cold. If not a Nido, what else could I be? I don't know, but you are certainly more special than any Nido I've seen. Your combat strength is above average, and you have far more subjective initiative. In other words, you are an unstable factor. The danger you pose, from what I can foresee, far outweighs the benefits of any intel or research you can provide. As Igletta speaks, she gestures for Gisela and Alan to back away. Although they are all wearing protective suits, she still wants to avoid any accidents. Even dolls are disgusted by me. Cortez lowered her head, her expression covered by the shadow of her bangs. You're not gonna cry, are you? If you want to play the victim, could you please go somewhere else? We're very busy over here. When they looked up, everyone saw the crazed and twisted smile of the Nido's face. Excellent! Absolutely excellent! Everyone looks down on me, and nothing could be more wonderful than this! Igletta, I admit you had a point earlier. Drama truly does stem from life. Stay alert. Igletta wasn't swayed in the slightest by Cortez's abnormal behavior. In fact, the hand holding her gun steadied even more. I didn't want to come to this. Big sisters, you forced my hand. Cordyceps raised a hand and tapped the air like playing a piano. A small, thin figure stumbled out from behind the ruins, looking like a puppet on strings. Don't go. That's the little girl who grabbed Luca in the restaurant. Come here. The little girl snuggled into Cordycep's embrace, and Cordyceps gently stroked her head. If you ladies don't let me come along, I wouldn't mind putting on another performance right here. Brain splatter fireworks. Despicable! As a soldier, Alan was the first to try and charge forward, but someone was faster than him, surprising everyone. Let go right now! He saw crosses Igletta and Intruder's defensive line and charges towards Cordyceps, seemingly clutching something in her hand, which is caught by sharp-eyed Igletta. That's shielding fabric. Using all her strength, Gisela threw the heavy shielding cloth and lunged forward, already knocking Cordyceps aside and slamming the little girl into the ground. Huh? Cordyceps swayed slightly from the impact, but her eyes immediately sharpened. Just as she was about to be hit by a bullet, she sidestepped, dodging a shot from Intruder. Catching the glimpse of Gisela having securely wrapped the little girl in a shielding cloth out of the corner of her eye, Intruder slightly relaxed her nerves. What a reckless woman. Intruder, initiate electronic warfare right now. We'll take out the needle and security system all in one fell swoop. You really do whatever pops in your head, huh? Under their combined assault, the solitary Nito and the poorly protected system were quickly taken down. The Nito's neural cloud, was heavily damaged in level 2, severely limiting her movements, leaving her utterly unable to withstand the two-pronged range and melee attacks in reality. Looks like you're at a dead end. Good job, Intruder. Keep up the remote support. Hey, when you say that, did you ever consider the level of rapport between us? Igletta ignores Intruder's complaint, swooping in swiftly like a falcon, almost clinking to the ground, holding a gun in her right hand and drawing a tactical combat knife with her left. Every shot was accurately hitting Cordyceps' next landing spot, forcing her to retreat repeatedly until she is backed against the ruined walls. Igletta's blaze slashes heavily against Cordyceps' sector. With nowhere left to retreat, she is forced into a posture looking up at Igletta. Big sister second generation doll, I really want to join you. Intruder's gunshots continued from in distance. Igletta looked at Cordyceps, who was now displaying a puppy-like demeanor again. A fleeting sense of that something was wrong, yet indescribable, flashed through her neural cloud. But under the circumstances, there was no time to dwell on it. When you used that little girl as a hostage, you became unworthy. Igletta didn't wait for a reply, pressing the gun to her head and pulling the trigger. There is no screams or cries. Cordyceps' head caves in and twists under the invasion and compression of the bullets, the unreleased pressure struggling to burst outward. Igletta stands up and looks at Cordyceps, whose head was exploded like a firework. Nidos, manufactured using humans as raw material, naturally have a structure similar to humans, but they also possess mechanical structures that Igletta cannot analyze. However, one thing catches her attention. This is a swarm of multi-legged machines, almost invisible to the human eye, drilled out of the Nido's pierced skull like spiders. Igletta looked at the needle corpse on the ground. Her years of experience exploring and hunting the wilderness told her that this needle had actually already died before being shot in the head. I see. If fungi can parasitize humans, they can parasitize needles too. Right. Although I don't know where you came from. Igletta immediately pulled out a grenade and tossed it over to fleeing mechanical spiders while executing a backflip. Because, you know, backflips are cool, I guess. The violent explosion turns into a rising cloud of fire, reducing everything that moved to ashes. Igletta waved her hand, trying to fan away the smoke from the explosion. That lady over there. Intruder's call drifted from a distance. I advise you, get away from your current position right now. A creaking sound came from above, and Igletta instinctively dodged backwards. The chunk of building ruins pierced by Intruder's shots collapsed completely on Cordyceps, the smoke masking any trace of her existence. Now, we just need to wait for that drone to come, right? Should be soon. Before that, what should we do with this human child? Intruder looked at the blank face little girl held in Gisella's arms. She's already been controlled. Her parents are likely in grave danger. It might not be appropriate to just let her go back like this. Maybe we can take her with us. A little girl doesn't weigh much. The drone should be able to handle that. However, I will have to hold her. I see. Igletta took the little girl from Gisela and held her firmly in her arms. Then I'll leave seize control of the anti-air system to you, Intruder. Leave it to me, bud. The little girl rests her head on Igletta's shoulder, staring blankly with her mouth open. A tiny mechanical spider crawls out of her mouth and stops on Igletta's hood, its limbs gripping the fabric tight. From a distance, it looks like a unique snap button. Your hood's really dirty. What is it? She turned her head in dissatisfaction, looking at the Sangus fairy doll playing with her hood. Intruder didn't answer, merely playing with the tiny mechanical body on her fingertips, revealing an ambiguous and enthusiastic smile. Alright, unless you're planning to take a bite out of me and grant me special abilities to walk on walls. Let's have a chat, shall we? What? You let them get away? Inside the Civil Security Bureau office, Nikita stands in the corner, watching the person raging impotently behind the desk. She really wants to leave early. She doesn't want to witness what happens next. But there's no helping this. This was what she had to bear as Nikita among a security. Because this was a temporary requisition, we are not familiar with the urban planning and terrain of Rannis. Due to the lack of time, we couldn't formulate an efficient and viable combat plan. The target escape was a foreseeable outcome. In reality, they just didn't want to waste ammo on loose troops. I clearly handed Cordyceps and others over to you to use. With so many people, you couldn't catch those two dolls. With all due respect, your doll squads are very disobedient. They clearly have their own ideas. And Neil's appearance, yet considered a doll? I'll have to tell Tokarev about this suspicious matter later. Aren't you Lin-Teen subordinates? You call yourselves an elite squad. Bunch of trash. my future, my political career. Things that didn't exist in the first place. Mr. Osborne, before we leave, we have one more task to complete. Huh? We need you to sign his confession, admitting that the coordination test and all related actions were your personal endeavors, entirely disconnected from anyone else, especially those from the Olak National Conglomerate. Bullshit! You want me to throw myself under the bus? No way. Let me tell you, my ancestors are Jonathan Smith from Mercury's Voice and Olivia Collins from Thobin. I have all of the evidence. My parents will hire the best lawyers to defend me. The best lawyers work for Thobin. Bring it on! Who's afraid of who? I'm going to go back to the White Zone right now. Get the fuck out of my way! Jesus bypassed the desk and was about to leave when he was stopped by a few Manga security members. Mr. Osborne, you will definitely confess today. You think I'll plead guilty? Who do you think you are? You some lowly commoner. Ju shut him again. This time he managed to push them away, though it seemed more like they stepped aside on their own. But after pushing through, a familiar petite figure appeared before him. Cordyceps! Just in time. Quick, drive these people away! Drive away? Cordyceps tilts her head, looking utterly confused. What are you laughing at? I said, Mr. Jude, you will definitely plead guilty today. I don't understand what you mean. Do, re, mi, fa, sol? Cordyceps hums a relaxed, simple tune as she slowly approaches Jude. With every step she takes, Jude takes a step back. Slowly, he retreats to the edge of the table. His legs go weak, and he almost falls. What are you going to do? At this moment, Cordyceps leans over to observe him, casting a huge shadow under the glow of the incandescent light, like a nightmare enveloping them. Then wait. Can I have his right eye? Whatever you like, as long as he can move. I feel like Monkey Security is also a pretty nice place. After this, will I be sent to Monkey Security? Powerful, ruthless, and highly nutritious looking. She could feel that her clone had already delivered a spore named Gluttony into a location where those Commander's dolls were. There, she would surely find the third-person dolls she so desired, and seek any opportunity to acquire the frame and identity she would never granted. In her time of despair and madness, the only thing she wanted was change. Herself, her environment, or perhaps the entire world. While the mother of that third-person doll was clearly a being she admired and yearned for, perhaps the Commander, declared dead yet whose body was never found, could bring about even more change. Cordyceps wanted these changes because she had nothing and lived on the edge every day, and therefore her yearning almost never ceased. Endlessly expanding desires caused Cordyceps to reveal a manic smile. That isn't us for us to decide. But if you have a certain level of aptitude, we can apply to consortium to have you transferred here. Yay! Looking forward to it. She turned her head again, looking at the trembling Jude. Ricos will soon suffer for a backlash and be discarded, just like those little pitiful ants. She feels delighted, as if she's about to be reborn. Then, I'll dig in!
指揮官のそばに立っていいのは私だけです。
Inside the documentary, Mathilde, is this the material you needed? Let me see. Igletta handed the box in her hand to Mathilde. This was a gelatinous substance produced in the skin of Elid. According to Mathilde, it could replace some expensive industrial materials and act as a composite catalyst for the raw materials used to repair the damaged structures of the Elmo. While Mathilde examined the material, Igletta looked up at the scarred behemoth behind her. No matter how many times she saw it, it always gave her a sense of helpless trepidation. The shocking scars on her body were a testament to the immense hardships and suffering the commander and the dull companions on the Elmo had endured. However, yes, this is it, but I still need more. Can I trouble you for it? No problem. Send me a list of the biological materials you need. I'll head out hunting after I rest and resupply my ammo. Great! I'll send you the email later. Hey, working with you is just so hassle-free. Hey, that doll over there. You can't just set up the scaffolding there. Can you send the maintenance manual properly? Mathilde brushes past Igletta, yelling and shouting. The dolls and humans, bustling about repairing the Elmo or resupplying, are little by little building hope and vitality upon the ruins. It seems no one has wallowed in sorrow for too long. Instead, they have pulled themselves together, doing whatever they can to the best of their abilities. This is the bond forged by the commander. Everyone is waiting for you to come back, Commander. The ring in the communication terminal interrupts Igletta's thoughts. Is this Miss Gisela? It's a very long email. To avoid disturbing others, Igletta walks over to a corner, sits down, and carefully reads the email. There's so many photos. Book. Lovely Miss Igletta. Although I don't know where you are right now, I felt there are some things you might care about, so after thinking it over, I decided to send you an email. As for the documentary, it's not finished editing yet, of course. Zhao has nearly rubbed his keyboard and mouse until they spark, and he's almost gone bald. But for the final cut's sake, we still hope to polish it a bit more. However, the trailer's view count has already exploded. It might even surpass that garbage film to become the most watched documentary, though surpassing garbage isn't something to be too happy about in and of itself. Never mind, just a standard performance. If you have time, you can also go leave a like on our trailer. Let me turn the tables. Show those haters who questioned my war correspondent credentials. Don't worry about my personal safety. There are many people protecting me. Also, part of the materials we collected have been submitted to a certain mysterious international humanitarian rescue organization. Through their coordinated efforts, some of the residents have been rescued and liberated, and that fungus thing has been cleared out. That organization happens to have some big shots researching relevant technologies. You can ask your remarkably resourceful Miss Kalia for specifics, though she's probably too busy to pick up calls these days. Unfortunately, Makosh completely severed ties with the Civil Security Bureau, so this investigation cannot extend to Makosh. That Mayor Makosh really is quite capable. I'd love to interview her if I ever get a chance. Secondly, although my audio recordings prove that the conglomerate was deeply involved in the Francis affairs, they used some dirty methods to make that poor fool at the Security Bureau confess that all of the inhumane experiments conducted in Hyrannus were solely planned and executed by him. The conglomerate claims total ignorance, and with insufficient evidence, the investigation can't proceed further. These people are so dirty. Alright, let's change the mood. Next, I'm going to show you some photos. Don't get too excited. So wordy. Despite her inner grumblings, Iglesias happily opened the attachment. Her first photo was of a little girl. She was sitting on a slide with somewhat timid expression, and her features gave a somewhat familiar feeling. Elisa in the orphanage? Elisa. Iglesias saw the fine print in the attachment and suddenly recalled that weak face. Mr. Tom's daughter? Gisela found her. That person that kept stubbornly claiming to be purely profit-driven right up until the very end. The second photo showed 3 young faces sitting in a small but cozy room, happily eating hot pot, none of them looking at the camera. It's Theo, Haley, and Alan. They were rescued? That's great! The inscription says, they strongly requested to be sent back to the coast to continue fighting right after finishing this meal, so I call it the last lunch. Not funny at all. Wait, Theo and Haley both came out, which means... Sure enough, the third photo was Luca. He was lying on the hospital bed, eyes shut tight, looking as if he was passed out. The anesthesia not yet worn off. His face has been drawn with many exaggerated and funny patterns. The 2 culprits, Gisela and Haley, are leaning on both sides of the hospital bed, happily making V signs, still holding their tools of the crime, a marker pen. That's great. Luca's back too. Maybe I can forward these photos to Intruder. By the way, what's her comms code again? The next photo is of a cute kitten wearing a diamond necklace and a little lace skirt, lying in a soft flannel cat bed, comfortably basking in the sun. With such an exaggerated outfit, you must be Mariana, right? The next photo is of Gisela Independent Media Studio. Gisela is standing behind a certain employee's seat, pointing and instructing, while the employee being instructed has a bitter look on his face. His face quite young, but he really doesn't have much hair left. Well, that must be Mr. Zhao. Hang in there. And there's one more. Why did he send me a gem? That gemstone ring was bright red, massive, and translucent. Judging by its quality, it was top tier. Forget it. It's pretty. Last one's a video? Below the video was a line of small text. The rough cut of silent pistis. I invite Iglesias and her companions, and if possible, the commander as well, to watch it together. We experienced and filmed this together, and in the end, we must witness its clamorous birth together. The truth should not remain silent. It must be deafening. The truth should not remain silent. Iglesias sat quietly for a long time, but ultimately didn't click on that video. This is the first step to helping the commander reclaim the battlefield of public opinion. I still really want to watch it with the commander. The commander of Griffin. The commander working as a bounty hunter. The commander of the Elmo. The commander as in for 10 long years. Gradually, the commander's several figures overlapped before Iglesias' eyes, forming an increasingly clear silhouette. This time, let me touch the real you. Sunlight shone through the gaps in the ruined walls, casting mottled lights and shadows on Iglesias. She had a premonition. Her commander's coming back soon. Alright, we're done. How'd you get to dog community? Time skip. They had a drone, so they flew over there. It was meh. Not gonna lie. The story itself is, I will say, the concept is generic. I've seen a lot of shows and a lot of visual novels that go and stuff like that. This was one of the very old tales of propaganda and what it can do to affect people. So I can't say the subject itself I really care for, especially in such a low amount of. The event was super duper hard carried by Igleta and Intruder. I would say if Intruder did not show up, I would have rated this a lot lower. It was very nice seeing a Singlets Fairy doll be more involved in an event. I think that's the highlight for me. Otherwise, this event for me just kind of there. I'm not gonna lie. So hoping the next event will be better. I am looking forward to what's the name that they picked for her? I think it was Cecilia, I want to say. G36C. She's up next, and I believe she's next week, I want to say. Yeah, Cecilia. Oh, and she's Burn Element, of course. Inspiration dryness? Yeah, probably. I can understand that. Next time, do a read through the Mid Persona collab event. I actually do want to read that, yes. Because I heard how bad it is. Well, yeah, how bad it is. I think that's the best way to put it. So I am curious just how bad that is. Which, by the way, I've always figured that a Persona collab was going to be super awful. For something like Nikkei. They're like oil and water. They probably want to relax after Iliad. I don't care. You still gotta write good stuff. They say a collab with Persona is a way to get the game EOS. Yeah, that's just a meme. It's mainly that Persona's getting milked out super duper hard, and they kind of don't really care about the quality. Yeah, by the way, Brandas 2 is also announcing their collab on Friday. I'm betting it's Persona. But oh right, let's see. I want to say next week is Cecilia, but I think this is the last week we can do the Persona collab. For Nikkei. So I'll have to decide what we're going to do with that. Ain't no way Alice is allowing BD2 Gen to touch their characters. I mean, they put them in Nikkei. I mean, BD2 is 2 sets above Nikkei, but Nikkei is still pretty degenerate. Global House catch on fast with CN, I see. I want to say fast, but it is catching up. I want to say... so in terms of major events, yes, you are... Global is very close. But there's a fuck ton of minor events in the way. And that's the real problem. I mean, Atlas is totally fine with making horny stuff. Like, it doesn't even need to be Persona. It could just be SMT and then use demons. There's a lot of really hot demons in SMT. Like, if you've seen Cleopatra from SMT 5, they can go that route, to be honest. But Persona is the one that draws an eye, so if they're going to collab anything, it's gonna be Persona 5. Like Mara. Mara's super provocative, yeah. Like there's Aphrodite. I said Aphrodite, not her. There's Cleopatra. There's shoot, what's her name? It wasn't like I can't say Aphrodite, but what's her? Sybil. Yeah, Sybil. Mermaid. Hell, even Fairy with a giant ass. There's Titania. Like plenty of female demons that get your jollies off. I guess it's the best way to put it. But alright, that's it for me. I'll go ahead and hop off. I will see you guys next week. Oh yeah, Arbus too. Yeah. Alright, see ya.